There was a huge fire at Company X, where my husband worked. When I heard the news, I felt like someone had hit me in the head with a hammer. I was so worried about him. I immediately called my husband, hoping he was okay and had gotten out of the fire. The phone rang, and then I heard his voice on the other end. "Hello? Max, where are you? Are you safe?" I asked, relieved to hear from him. My voice got louder because I was so happy to reach him. Max sounded annoyed and said, "Why are you shouting? I'm at work. Don't call me when I'm working." He hung up the phone right after that. I felt a little better knowing he wasn't caught in the fire, but his response seemed strange. "My name is Mona, and I'm 32 years old. I work as a nurse, and work has always been a big part of my life. I married Max 3 years ago when I was 29. We met through a friend and hit it off right away. We live in his company housing and are enjoying our life together. We've been married for 3 years, but don't have kids yet. I still believe we can have a happy family." Max is a good man, though sometimes he can be a bit self-centered. He shows me love, and I feel safe with him. Lately, though, he's been working a lot, even on his days off. I think he's just tired, so he doesn't pay much attention to me. After dinner, he sits on the couch, staring at his phone with the TV on but not really watching it. When I try to talk to him, he just gives short answers like yeah or oh. At first, I thought maybe I had said something wrong, but I decided he was just exhausted from his busy work, so I made sure to prepare healthy meals for him every day. Then, something unusual happened. A coworker asked me to switch my shift from night to day, so I had to tell Max that I would be working during the day. I planned to let him know, but I got busy and ended up sending him an email that day. I told him about the shift change and that I would make dinner and wait for him. But I didn't get a reply. He used to reply quickly, even when I was at work, sometimes with emojis. This time, he just read the message but didn't respond. I started to wonder if he was just busy or if this was normal after being married for 3 years. Feeling a bit sad, I went to the store after work and bought ingredients to cook a nice dinner for him. Since it was so cold, I decided to make a one-pot dish. I prepped everything and waited for him to come home so I could start cooking. He usually gets home by 7 p.m., but by 9 p.m., he still hadn't come back. When he finally walked in, I said, "Welcome back. You're late. Did you work overtime?" He answered, "Yeah, I did, but did you have to switch to the day shift suddenly?" I said, "Yeah, a coworker had an emergency, so I couldn't tell you sooner, but it's a bit frustrating that you didn't know until the same day. I might have made other plans, like going out for a drink." Max apologized. "You're right, sorry." Then I turned on the stove and started cooking. "Oh, you haven't eaten yet?" my husband asked when he saw me sitting at the table. "No, I thought I'd wait for you," I replied. "Well, thanks, but next time, you don't have to wait for me," he said. His words made me feel a little sad. I started to wait for the hot pot to boil. Once it was simmering, I served him a portion, then served myself. I was really hungry after waiting so long. As I ate, I noticed that my husband wasn't eating much. "What's wrong? You don't seem to be eating much," I asked. He looked a little confused and replied, "Oh, yeah, actually, I worked late, and a junior colleague bought me a rice bowl, so I'm not really hungry." I was frustrated and said, "Well, you should have told me earlier, before I made the hot pot." He seemed to notice that I was upset and said, "Okay, I'll put my portion in the fridge. I'll eat it tomorrow morning." He was trying to make me feel better. Then, he lay down on the couch, but a few minutes later, he suddenly said, "I'm going for a walk." "That's unusual," I said, surprised. "I haven't been getting enough exercise lately, and I've been working late. I need a change of pace," he explained. I felt a bit empty eating alone at the table, so I decided to put my portion in the fridge too. I felt like I'd eaten too much, and since my husband and I hadn't spent much time together lately, I thought I'd join him on the walk. But when I asked him to walk with me, he refused. He said it wouldn't be good for me to walk right after eating, and that he wanted to go for a long walk alone. He left to walk by himself. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, so I decided to secretly follow him. As soon as I did, I saw my husband walking briskly, clearly not tired from his walk. He stopped in front of a park that was a bit far from the house and started looking around. It seemed like he was talking to someone on his phone. Then, a car pulled up. My husband went up to the car and spoke to the person in the driver's seat. It was dark, but when I got closer, I saw a woman sitting there. She had long, curly hair and glossy lipstick. I was in shock as I watched my husband get into the car with her. They drove away together. I couldn't believe it. He was having an affair. I stood there, shocked, for a while. Then my husband sent me a text message saying he had run into someone he knew and would be home a little late. Someone he knew, out of nowhere, I thought. I didn't believe him at all. He had told me he wasn't hungry because he'd already eaten, but it was past 2 a.m. When he finally came home. He didn't even notice I was awake. He seemed a bit drunk and went straight to the kitchen to drink some water. From then on, he kept working overtime whenever I was on the day shift. We already had trouble matching our days off, but now it was even harder. Yesterday, he worked late, and today, he had to work on his day off, but I wondered if it was really work. Was he meeting the woman I saw that night? I couldn't stop thinking about it. I searched online for detective agencies and ended up hiring one to look into it. I felt guilty for spying on him, but if nothing was going on, I would be able to trust him again, so I decided to go ahead with the investigation. The waiting was awful. My husband was as quiet as ever, and every time I saw his face, I thought about the woman. I wanted to know the truth as soon as possible. Then something unbelievable happened. It was Saturday, and I was working my usual day shift. My husband was also working on his day off. I focused on my work, trying not to think about anything else. Suddenly, I heard fire truck sirens getting louder and closer. It wasn't just one truck, but several. There must have been a big fire nearby. I felt uneasy. Then, two of my coworkers came back from a hospital room with serious expressions. They mentioned the fire. Wait, the fire? I asked. Yes, it was a big fire at Company X, they said. My heart dropped. That was where my husband worked. I rushed to explain what I had heard, then called my husband to make sure he was safe. Please be safe, I thought to myself as I dialed his number. Even though we hadn't been talking much lately, I always saw him off when he left for work. I hoped he had gotten out of the fire. The phone rang, and to my relief, I heard his voice. Hello? Max, where are you? Are you safe? I asked, my voice louder from relief. He sounded annoyed and said, What's wrong with you? You're yelling. I'm at work. Don't call me while I'm working. And the call ended suddenly. At least he wasn't caught in the fire, but his response was strange. There was a fire, and fire trucks were there. He couldn't possibly still be at work. Maybe he wasn't even at work. And why was he being so cold to me when I was worried about him? I became angrier. Maybe I had been seeing him off just so he could meet another woman since we got married. I made a decision. I would leave. I started packing my things as soon as I got home. Then I checked the mailbox and saw the results from the detective agency. I decided to leave with those results in hand. My parents helped me pack, and the movers arrived soon after. My things were taken out of the house right away. My husband didn't know I knew the truth. He didn't try to contact me that night, and I figured he was staying with his lover. I packed up many of my belongings from before our marriage. The room was almost empty, looking so lonely. As I stared at it, I realized I had no attachment to the life we had in this house. For now, I moved my things to my parents' house and started looking for a new place to live alone. The next day, my husband finally called. Hey, what's going on? Most of your stuff is gone, he said. Of course I moved out, I answered. What were you thinking? When are you coming back? What about my food? What about the house chores? I was shocked. Is that all you care about? As I talked to him, I remembered the fire at his company. He wasn't even working, he was with his affair partner. That thought made me even angrier. Why don't you get another woman to do that, huh? I asked him. What are you talking about? He replied. You were with a woman named Linda today, weren't you? Huh? What are you talking about? I was working at the office. At the office? How long did you work today? It was a busy day, even though it was my day off. I worked late. That's why I was surprised you moved out. Stop lying already. Huh? You lied about going to work, right? I wasn't lying, I was working. How could you be working all day when there was a fire at your office? Huh? When I called you, I heard fire trucks heading to your company because of a fire there. That's why I called, to check if you were okay. You told me not to call you at work, but you spoke like nothing happened. Well, and I have proof of your affair from a detective agency. You can't hide from this. I'll be handling everything through my lawyer. I'll make sure to get alimony. Oh no. He begged for my forgiveness, apologizing over and over, but I didn't care anymore. I had no feelings left for him. I'm sorry, but it's over. I'm hanging up now. Wait. I went to my lawyer and filed for a divorce and alimony. The divorce went through, and my husband couldn't avoid the consequences with all the evidence. He and his affair partner paid me a fair amount of alimony. It turned out his lover was a junior colleague at his company. The news of their affair spread quickly, especially since it happened during the fire. It caused a lot of anger from their coworkers. Now, both my husband and his lover are getting cold stares from everyone, and I think they deserve it. Meanwhile, I moved into a new apartment and am living a peaceful life on my own. As a nurse with a stable job, I'm not in a rush to start another relationship. I'm enjoying my own time and looking forward to meeting someone who's sincere when the time is right. She discovered her husband's affair because of the fire at his company, but he shouldn't have cheated in the first place. She would have found out eventually. He deserves everything that happened. Enjoy your life, Mona, and stay strong as you start fresh.
The first time I heard my mother call me a cash cow, I was standing outside our kitchen with an armful of groceries I'd bought for them. Again. My hand froze on the doorknob as her voice drifted through, sharp and clear despite her attempts to whisper. Audrey's always been reliable that way, she said to my brother. Work, like a good little drone. She'll keep paying as long as we keep pushing the right buttons. I'm Audrey, 31, corporate consultant, and apparently my family's personal ATM. The grocery bags suddenly felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds. Yeah, but what if she gets married or something? Caden's voice was worried. What if she wants the apartment back? Please. Mum's laugh was like ice down my spine. Your sister's too busy being the responsible one to date. Besides, I raised her right. Family comes first, remember? She'd never throw us out. I stood there, frozen, as years of memories crashed through my mind like dominoes. The proud smile on Mum's face when I got my first consulting job. My brilliant girl, she'd said, right before asking for help with the rent. Caden's art school tuition that somehow became my responsibility. The luxury downtown apartment I bought for them because family takes care of family. Still, Caden pressed, shouldn't we get her to sign over the deed? You know, make it official. Already working on it, sweetie. Give it time. Your sister's smart with business but stupid with love. All I have to do is cry about getting older. Throw in some guilt about all I sacrificed raising you both alone. The grocery bag split. Oranges rolled across the floor, one hitting the door with a soft thud. The kitchen went silent. Audrey? Mom called out. Is that you, honey? I grabbed my keys and ran. Straight to the elevator, past Corbin the super, who called out a friendly hello, through the lobby and onto the street. My phone buzzed. Probably Mom, wondering where her groceries were. I ended up in a coffee shop 3 blocks away, hands shaking as I tried to order something. Anything. The barista looked concerned. Rough day? She asked, sliding me a cup of whatever I'd managed to request. Just found out I'm a farm animal, I said, attempting a laugh that came out more like a sob. Apparently I'm a very profitable cow. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Quinn from work. Hey, you okay? You never miss client calls. I glanced at my watch. 2:30 p.m. Right. The Thompson Project Review. Food poisoning, I texted back. Cover for me? Always. But you owe me dinner. I smiled despite everything. Quinn had been dropping hints like that for months. I'd always been too busy with family obligations to notice. Too busy being the responsible one. The reliable one. The stupid one. Mum called again. I let it ring. Your mother must be worried, said a voice in my head that sounded suspiciously like my childhood self. Family comes first, remember? Family comes first, I whispered, then laughed bitterly. Except when it comes to actually being family. My phone lit up with a text from Caden. Mum's freaking out. Where are you? She needs you. Of course she does. She needs her cash cow, her golden goose, her dutiful daughter who works 60-hour weeks so they can live in luxury while she eats microwave dinners in a tiny studio apartment. I opened my contacts and scrolled past Mum's number to one I'd saved months ago, but never called. Alison Murray, Family Law. "Hi," I said when she answered. "I need help evicting my family from my apartment." There was a pause. "Come to my office, now. Bring any documentation you have." I stood up, leaving my untouched coffee behind. My phone buzzed again, Mom calling for the 5th time. I declined the call and typed out a message. "Sorry about the groceries. Not feeling well. Talk tomorrow." The response was immediate. "Feel better, sweetie. By the way, my birthday's coming up. I was thinking we could discuss something special about the apartment." I stared at the message, remembering her words from earlier. Smart with business, stupid with love. "Well, Mom," I thought, sliding my phone into my pocket. Let's see how stupid I really am. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows as I walked to Alison's office. Each step felt lighter than the last, like I was finally waking up from a long, suffocating dream. My phone kept buzzing, but I didn't check it again. They wanted to clip my wings. Fine, but they forgot one thing. Even a caged bird remembers how to fly. Alison's office smelled like leather and coffee. She sat across from me, scanning the documents I'd brought. Deed, mortgage statements, utility bills. 3 years of financial receipts that mapped out my family's slow consumption of my life. "Let me get this straight," she said, tapping a manicured nail against my credit card statement. "You're paying for a luxury 3-bedroom apartment downtown while you live in a studio?" "They needed the space more," I said automatically, then winced at how pathetic it sounded. "Honey, what they need is a reality check." She leaned forward. "This is elder abuse in reverse. They're bleeding you dry." My phone buzzed again. Mum's face lit up the screen. Her 15th call since yesterday. "Answer it," Alison said. "On speaker. Let's hear what she's selling." I took a deep breath and picked up. "Hi, Mom." "Audrey, finally. We've been so worried. Are you feeling better, sweetheart?" "Much better," I lied, watching Alison's eyebrows rise at Mom's sugary tone. Good. Listen, I've been thinking about my birthday next month. You know how I've always wanted to make sure everything's settled for Caden's future." "Mom, just hear me out, sweetie. I found these wonderful real estate agents who could help us transfer the apartment deed. You're so busy with work, you don't need the hassle of property management. We could handle everything." Alison was already shaking her head, mouthing no emphatically. "I'll think about it," I said, my voice steady despite the trembling in my hands. "Got to go. Client meeting." I hung up before she could respond. "Well," Alison said, "that was educational. Now, let's look at your bank statements from the past month." She spread them out like playing cards. My stomach churned as I saw the pattern. Withdrawals at high-end restaurants I'd never visited, charges at furniture stores, even a consultation fee for, I squinted at the entry, Premier Real Estate Services. "They're already spending the money they think they'll get from selling the apartment," I whispered. "After they force you out," Alison confirmed. "Classic setup. They're probably documenting every interaction, building a case that you promised them ownership." My phone pinged with a text from Quinn. "Missed you in the budget meeting. Brought you soup. Outside your building." "I'm not there," I replied. "At a lawyer's office." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Everything okay? Need backup?" I smiled despite everything. "Maybe later. Rain check on the soup." "It's a date. Finally." Alison cleared her throat. "Focus, Audrey. We need to move fast. First step, freeze all their access to your accounts. Then we draft an eviction notice. But what if they— No!" She held up her hand. "That right there? That hesitation? That's what they've weaponized. Every but what if is another chain they've wrapped around you." She was right. I'd spent my whole life wondering, what if? What if Mom couldn't manage without me? What if Caden ended up homeless? What if I was being a bad daughter? Okay, I said. Where do we start? 2 hours later, I had a new bank account, cancelled credit cards, and a stack of legal documents that felt like freedom. My phone had 30 missed calls and twice as many texts. Don't respond, Allison advised. Let them sweat, and don't go back to that apartment until we serve the papers. Where am I supposed to stay? Got any friends they don't know about? I thought about Quinn's soup, still waiting somewhere, about all the dinners I'd declined because Mom needed me home, about the life I'd put on hold while funding theirs. Yeah, I said. I think I do. Walking out of Allison's office, I felt lighter than I had in years. Until I checked my email and found a message from Corbin, the building super. Hey Audrey, weird question, but did you authorize the real estate appraisal today? Your brother let them in, said you knew about it, need to confirm for building records. My hands shook as I forwarded the email to Allison, adding, They're moving faster than we thought. Her response was immediate. So will we. Come back tomorrow. Bring coffee. We're going nuclear. I hailed a cab and finally texted Quinn back. Still have that soup? Could use a friend right now. Always, came the reply. My place is soup ready and family drama free. As the cab pulled away from the curb, my phone lit up with Mom's face again. This time, I didn't feel the usual surge of guilt when I declined the call. Instead, I felt something unfamiliar, something that took me a moment to recognize. It was relief. Quinn's apartment was exactly what you'd expect from a corporate analyst, minimalist, organized, and equipped with a coffee machine that probably cost more than my first car. He ladled soup into bowls while I sat at his kitchen island, explaining everything. So, they were planning to flip your apartment? He shook his head. That's some next-level manipulation. 3 days since I cut off the money, I said, stirring my soup. Want to guess how many guilt trips I've gotten? Show me. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the messages. Caden sent this one an hour ago. Had to cancel my art show because I can't pay the gallery fee. Thanks for killing my dreams, sis. Quinn snorted. The same art show he's been planning for 2 years? And here's Mum's latest. Eating crackers for dinner because the credit card was declined. Remember when I used to skip meals so you could eat? Funny how she managed to send that from a restaurant's location tag, Quinn pointed out, peering at my screen. My phone buzzed with a new message. From Corbin. Your brother's showing the apartment to more realtors. Said you approved it. Please confirm? They're getting desperate, Quinn said, reading over my shoulder. What's your next move? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Mum's face filled the screen. Put it on speaker, Quinn whispered. I'll be quiet. I answered. Hi, Mom. Audrey, thank God. We've been so worried. The cards aren't working. There must be some mistake. No mistake, I said, gripping my spoon tighter. I cancelled them. Silence. Then, but how are we supposed to live? The same way other people do, with jobs. Is this about the apartment? Her voice turned sharp. Has someone been telling you lies about us? We're your family, Audrey. Everything we've done has been for your own good. Quinn made a gagging motion. I bit back a laugh. Actually, Mom, I've been thinking about what's for my own good lately. Don't take that tone with me, young lady. After everything I've sacrificed. You mean after everything I've paid for? Another silence. When she spoke again, her voice was trembling. Your brother is crying. He might have to drop out of his photography course. Is that what you want? He's 36, Mum. Maybe it's time he learned to support himself. I can't believe you're being so selfish. What happened to my sweet, caring daughter? She woke up. I ended the call. Quinn whistled low. That was terrifying? Liberating? Like jumping off a cliff? I was going to say hot, but those work too. I threw my napkin at him, laughing for what felt like the first time in weeks. The moment was broken by rapid-fire texts from Caden. Mum's having chest pains. This is your fault. If anything happens to her, I'll never forgive you. Quinn read them and rolled his eyes. Let me guess. She miraculously recovers when you send money? Every time. I put my phone face down. I can't go back there. Stay here, he said. I have a spare room. No strings, no guilt trips, no family drama, just soup and space to breathe. I looked at him, really looked at him, for maybe the first time. Why are you helping me? Because 2 years ago, I watched you skip lunch for a month to pay for your brother's emergency car repair. Because you deserve better than being someone's ATM. Because... He shrugged. Maybe I like having you around. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Allison. Your mother just called my office. Threatened to sue for elder abuse. Please tell me you're documenting everything. I showed Quinn the message. Still want me around? This is going to get ugly. Bring it on. He took my bowl to the sink. I make excellent stress relief soup. That night, lying in Quinn's spare room, I got one final text from Mum. I raised you better than this. Family comes first, remember? Don't make me tell people what an ungrateful daughter you really are. I stared at the message for a long time before typing back. Go ahead, Mom. Tell them everything. I'm done keeping your secrets. Then I blocked her number, turned off my phone, and had the best sleep I'd had in years. In the morning, Quinn was already up, making coffee. Ready for war? He asked, sliding me a mug. I took a sip, thinking about Mom's threat, about Caden's fake tears, about all the years I'd spent being their personal bank. No, I said. I'm ready for peace. They just won't like my terms. Record everything, Allison said, adjusting my phone's position on the coffee shop table. Every conversation, every text, every accidental run-in. Your mother's the type to play victim when cornered. Right on cue, my temporary phone buzzed. Mum had already found my new number. Ready? Allison asked. I nodded and answered. Hello? Audrey, finally! Mum's voice dripped honey. We need to talk about this silly situation. I'm at that little cafe you like, the one near your office. Join me? I was already there, watching her through the window as she sat alone, dabbing at dry eyes with a tissue. Classic Mom, setting the stage for her performance. I'll be there in 5, I said, ending the call. Allison squeezed my arm. Remember the plan. Let her talk. Let her incriminate herself. I walked outside and around the block, then entered the cafe as if I'd just arrived. Mum jumped up, arms wide for a hug I didn't return. Oh, sweetie, she sniffled. You look terrible. Are you eating? Living in hotels can't be good for you. I'm fine, Mom. What do you want? She flinched at my tone. Can't a mother worry about her daughter? Everything I've done has been to protect you. Protect me? My laugh drew looks from nearby tables. By using me? Using you? Is that what someone's been telling you? She leaned forward, voice dropping. Has that lawyer been filling your head with nonsense? You know how they twist things. The only twisting happening here is you trying to steal my apartment. Her face changed, just for a second, but I caught it. Rage, quickly masked by hurt. Steal? Darling, we just want to secure everyone's future. You're so busy with work. Managing property would be such a burden. If you just sign the deed over, so you can sell it? Of course not! But... She paused, calculating. If we did decide to sell, you wouldn't want poor Caden homeless, would you? After everything we've been through as a family? My phone recorded every word as I asked, What exactly have we been through, Mom? I raised you alone. I sacrificed everything. Dad left because you emptied his accounts, just like you're doing to me. She went very still. Who told you that? Dad did. I found him last week. It was a bluff, but her reaction confirmed everything. She grabbed her purse, standing so quickly, her chair scraped back. That man is a liar. He abandoned us. I can't believe you'd betray me like this, after everything. Everything you sacrificed? Yeah, you mentioned that, along with telling Caden I'm your personal ATM. Her mouth opened, closed. I never. You did, in the kitchen. Remember? Smart with business, stupid with love. Those were your exact words. Color drained from her face. You were spying on us? No, Mum. I was bringing you groceries, again. But please, tell me more about how you've sacrificed everything for me. She sat back down, switching tactics. Tears welled up. You're right. I've made mistakes. But we can fix this, can't we? For family? My phone buzzed. Quinn checking in. You okay? Need backup? I smiled at the message, and Mom pounced. Is that a boy? Oh, sweetheart. You know how men can take advantage. Stop! I stood up. The apartment stays in my name. The money stops now. You have 30 days to find a new place. You wouldn't dare. Her tears vanished. I'll tell everyone what an abusive daughter you are, how you left your poor mother homeless. Your reputation will be ruined. I pulled out a manila envelope, empty, but she didn't know that, and placed it on the table. Go ahead. Meanwhile, I'll share these records with every family member, friend, and social media platform. Every manipulation, every lie, every dollar you took. Your choice. She stared at the envelope, then at me, seeing me clearly maybe for the first time. You've changed, she whispered. No, Mom, I've woken up. 30 days. That's generous considering everything. I walked out, hands shaking but head high. Quinn was waiting outside. How'd it go? I showed him the recording. Think it's enough? For the lawyers? Definitely. For your peace of mind? That's up to you. My phone buzzed with a text from Caden. Mum's crying because of you. Again. Hope you're happy with yourself. I typed back. I am. For the first time in years. Quinn read over my shoulder and grinned. Now that's the kind of family drama I can get behind. Dinner? Actually, I said, I need to apartment hunt. Know any good places? Funny you should ask. He pulled out his phone, showing me a listing. There's a great unit available in my building. I looked at the photos, then at him. Are you sure you want to be neighbors with all this mess? Audrey, he said, taking my hand. I've never been more sure of anything. For once, I didn't check my buzzing phone. Some messages could wait. The birthday dinner was my idea. One last family meal before everything changed. Quinn thought I was crazy, but Allison approved, as long as we did it in public. Less chance of a scene, she said, and more witnesses. I reserved a table at Mum's favourite restaurant, the kind of place where the menu doesn't show prices. Fitting, since she'd never seen the bills anyway. They arrived together, Mum in her best martyr outfit, and Caden sporting his struggling artist look, complete with a carefully distressed jacket that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Darling, Mum air-kissed my cheeks. We were so surprised by the invitation, weren't we, Caden? Whatever, he mumbled, already scanning the wine list. I'd arrived early and ordered champagne. It sat, chilling in its bucket, like a time bomb in ice. Before we order, I said, lifting my glass, a toast, to family, and to truth. Mom's smile flickered. Sweetie, about our little disagreement. I bought an apartment, I interrupted, in Quinn's building. Caden dropped his menu. You're moving? But what about your inheritance? I took a sip of champagne. That's why we're here, to discuss the future. Now, Audrey, Mom started, but I wasn't finished. I've done the math. Over the past 5 years, I've given you nearly $500,000. The waiter approached. Mom waved him away with practiced charm. That's ridiculous, she laughed. You're exaggerating. I pulled out my tablet, sliding it across the table. Bank statements, credit card bills, property taxes, even Caden's 3 abandoned degree programs. Those weren't abandoned, Caden protested. I'm finding myself artistically. On my dime. I turned to Mom. Did you really think I wouldn't notice the real estate agents? The appraisals? Her face hardened. We were trying to protect you. From what? Financial security? Independence? Love? That boy is using you, she hissed. He's after your money, just like your father. Quinn makes twice what I do, I cut in. And Dad? He's doing great. Remarried, happy, free of debt. Wonder why? Mom's hand shook as she reached for her water. You said you found him last week. I lied. Found him 3 years ago. He told me everything, including how you drained his accounts before filing for divorce. Caden looked between us, confused. Mom? Don't listen to her, Mom snapped. She's turned cruel, ungrateful. The apartment stays in my name, I said quietly. You have 23 days left to move out. You can't do this. Caden stood up, drawing stares. We're family. No, I said. We're a business arrangement, and I'm foreclosing. Mom grabbed my arm. Think about what you're doing. Once you cross this line, you crossed it first. Every time you used my love against me. Every time you taught Caden that manipulation was easier than work. Every time you looked at my success and saw only dollar signs. I raised you to understand family obligations. You raised me to be your bank. I stood up, dropping my napkin. The account is closed. Caden started to cry. Real tears this time, not the performative ones he usually used. Where are we supposed to go? There's a nice apartment complex across town. Affordable. Within walking distance of several entry-level job opportunities. I placed a folder on the table. I took the liberty of gathering some applications. Mum knocked the folder aside. How dare you? Happy birthday, Mum. Consider this your gift, a chance to finally grow up. I walked out, ignoring their calls behind me. Quinn was waiting in his car. You okay? He asked as I slid into the passenger seat. Through the restaurant window, I could see Mom dramatically dabbing her eyes while nearby diners pretended not to watch. They'll try to fight this, I said. Let them. The law's on your side. My phone lit up with messages. You're killing your mother. We'll tell everyone what you've done. Family is forever. You'll regret this. I turned off my phone and looked at Quinn. Take me home. He smiled. Which home? Your old apartment or the new one? The new one. I leaned back, feeling lighter than I had in years. Time to start unpacking. Speaking of unpacking, he said, pulling away from the curb. Want help with the emotional baggage too? I laughed, a real laugh, not the careful one I'd used around my family for years. Are you offering to be my therapist or my boyfriend? How about just someone who sees you, the real you, not the ATM version? Behind us, the restaurant grew smaller in the mirror, along with the life I was leaving behind. I'd like that, I said. The real me could use a friend. Good, he replied, because the real you is pretty amazing. For once, I actually believed it. The Reddit post wasn't my idea. Quinn suggested it after Mom's latest attempt at public shaming, a tearful Facebook video about ungrateful children that had our relatives buzzing. Tell your side, he said, watching me scroll through angry messages from distant aunts. The truth deserves airtime too, so I did. Late one night I typed out everything, the financial abuse, the manipulation, the apartment scheme, posted it on True off my chest with a simple title, "I'm evicting my family and I don't feel guilty anymore." It went viral overnight. "Your post is trending," Quinn announced, bringing coffee to my desk. "The comments are wild." I was already reading them. "OMG, my mum does the same thing. You're so brave for standing up to them. Please update us when they move out." Then my phone rang. "Allison, your mother's busy," she said without preamble. "She's trying to contact every legal aid office in the city. Also, have you seen Caden's response video?" I hadn't. Quinn pulled it up on his laptop. My brother, artfully disheveled, talking about mental health and family trauma. The comments were full of people offering to help fund his artistic recovery. "He's good," Quinn admitted, really selling the struggling artist angle. "Check his new PayPal," Allison suggested. I did. My stomach turned. "He's raised $12,000. "People love a victim," Allison said, "but we have receipts. Literally." I posted them all, every bank statement, every manipulative text, every recorded conversation, including Mum's birthday dinner performance. The internet exploded. My inbox flooded with messages from other people sharing similar stories. One caught my eye, from Nancy, my childhood best friend who disappeared after high school. "I always wondered why you stopped hanging out," she wrote. "Now I know. Your mum told me you were too busy for friends, that you wanted to focus on family. I should have seen through it. I'm so sorry." I was still staring at her message when Corbin called. "Your brother's doing something weird," he said. "There's a film crew in the apartment. He's giving interviews about generational trauma and toxic success culture. Should I stop them?" "Record everything," I said, remembering Allison's advice. "And yes, please remove them. They don't have permission to film there." "Already on it." "Oh, and your mom's been asking about your new address, several times. Thought you should know." Quinn looked up from his laptop. "We should increase security at your building." "Already done," I said. "But Mom's not the type for direct confrontation. She prefers psychological warfare." Right on cue, my work email pinged. Someone had sent my viral Reddit post to every executive at my company. "Trying to get me fired," I muttered. Classic Mom. But the response wasn't what she expected. My boss called almost immediately. "Audrey, just read your post. My sister went through something similar. Take whatever time you need to handle this. We've got your back." The support was overwhelming. For every angry relative, there were dozens of strangers sharing their own stories of breaking free from financial abuse. "You've started something," Quinn said, scrolling through the responses. "Look at all these people finding their voice because of you." My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Mom, with yet another new approach. "I'm in the hospital, stress-induced collapse. Are you happy now?" I showed Quinn, who checked her Instagram. "Weird, she seems fine in the poolside photo she posted an hour ago." I blocked the number and turned back to my laptop, where Nancy had sent another message. "Having coffee at that place we used to love. Remember? By the library? If you're free." Quinn saw me hesitate. "Go," he said. "I'll monitor the situation here. You deserve to rebuild the friendships they took from you." At the cafe, Nancy looked exactly the same, and completely different. We hugged like no time had passed. "I saw Caden's videos," she said as we sat down. "He always was good at playing the victim. Remember when he blamed us for breaking your mom's vase?" I laughed. "The one he threw during a tantrum?" "Yeah. You know what's weird?" She stirred her coffee. "Looking back, I can't remember a single time when you were allowed to just be a kid. You were always taking care of them." "Not anymore," I said. My phone lit up with another Instagram notification. Mom had posted a childhood photo of us, caption reading, "Missing my sweet, loving daughter. Praying she finds her way back to family values." Nancy read it and snorted. Want to take a selfie? Show her what real friendship looks like? We did, grinning like teenagers. I posted it with the caption, "Found my way back to what matters, authentic relationships, and genuine love." Mom deleted her post an hour later. Sometimes the best revenge is simply being happy. Moving day arrived with a mix of rain and drama. I stood in the lobby of my apartment building, watching through the glass doors as Mom orchestrated her final performance. "Careful with that," she shouted at the movers. "It's an antique." It wasn't. I'd bought that coffee table from IKEA 3 years ago. Quinn squeezed my hand. "Ready?" "No," I admitted, "but let's do this anyway." Corbin met us at the door. "They've been at it since 6 a.m. Your brother's filming everything." Sure enough, Caden had his phone out, narrating to his followers, "Day of exile, watching my family being forced onto the streets." "Streets?" Quinn muttered. "They're moving to a fully furnished apartment I found them." "Doesn't fit his starving artist narrative," I said, pushing through the doors. Mum spotted me immediately. "Oh, everyone! Look who finally showed up! The daughter who's throwing her family away!" Several passers-by slowed down, sensing drama. Caden aimed his camera at me. "Don't," I warned him. "You're not authorized to film here." "The public has a right to know." "The public knows plenty," Quinn interrupted. "Your sister's Reddit post has 2 million views." Mom whirled around. "You!" She pointed at Quinn. "You turned her against us!" "No, Mom. You did that all by yourself. After everything I've sacrificed." "Stop!" My voice cut through her familiar script. "Just stop. The movers are paid for. The new apartment is ready. Your choice if you want to make this harder than it needs to be." "Our choice?" Caden laughed bitterly. "Like we had a choice in any of this?" "You had plenty of choices," I said. "You could have gotten jobs, paid your own bills, been actual family instead of professional parasites." "How dare you!" Mom stepped toward me, hand raised. Quinn moved between us. "That's assault on camera, ma'am. Want to try explaining that to your social media followers?" She dropped her hand, but her eyes were pure venom. "You think you've won? Wait until everyone sees what an ungrateful, heartless daughter you really are." "Too late." I pulled out my phone. "They've already seen the real story. The bank statements, the recordings, the truth." "Truth?" Caden scoffed. "Our truth or yours?" "How about the truth about Dad?" Mom went pale. "Don't. How you drained his accounts. How you told everyone he abandoned us when really he was trying to stop your spending? That truth? Your father was weak." "No, he was smart. He got out. Just like I'm doing." Caden lowered his phone. "Mom? What's she talking about?" "She's lying," Mom said quickly. "Like father, like daughter. Both selfish, both—" "I have his number," I cut in. "Want to ask him yourself, Caden?" He stared at me, then at Mom. For the first time, I saw doubt crack his perfect victim facade. "The movers are waiting," I said softly, "and your new place has good light for painting. Real painting, not just Instagram photos of blank canvases." He flushed, another truth exposed. Mom tried one last time. "Audrey, please, we can fix this. We're family." "No, Mom, we're not. We're a business arrangement you're trying to emotionally blackmail me into continuing. And I quit." "You'll regret this," she hissed. "You'll end up alone and miserable." I looked at Quinn, at Nancy waiting by her car, at Corbin who'd had my back through all of this. "I'm not alone," I said. "I'm free." The movers finished loading the truck. Mom made a show of dabbing her eyes as she got into her car. Caden hesitated. "The apartment," he started. "Is mine," I finished. "Time to stand on your own feet, little brother." He nodded slowly. "I don't know how. The new place is near 3 art supply stores all hiring part-time. Start there." For a moment, he looked like the kid he used to be, before Mom turned him into her weapon. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Then he got into the car. I watched them drive away, Mom already on her phone, probably planning her next social media attack, but it didn't matter anymore. Quinn put his arm around me. "You okay?" "No," I said honestly. "But I will be." Nancy walked over, holding up her keys. "Ready to see your apartment? The real one, not the one they took over?" I looked up at my building, my home, finally just mine. "Actually," I said, "I want to do something first." I pulled out my phone and opened Reddit. Update? They're gone, and I'm finally starting to breathe. The first comment appeared almost instantly. "Welcome to freedom. It gets better from here." Looking at my real family, chosen, not forced, I knew they were right. The key felt different in my hand as I unlocked the apartment door. Same metal, same weight, but everything else had changed. "Ready?" Quinn asked behind me, holding a box labeled New Start. I pushed the door open. The space echoed with emptiness. No more guilt trip photos on the walls. No more expensive furniture bought with my credit cards. Just possibility. My phone buzzed. A text from Caden. "Found a job. Art supply store. It's weird having a real paycheck." "Good," I typed back, then added, "Proud of you." Nancy appeared in the doorway with pizza and wine. "Housewarming time? Or should we sage the place first?" "Both," Quinn decided. "Definitely both." We sat on the floor, eating pizza off paper plates, when my laptop pinged. Another comment on my final Reddit update. "What happened with your dad? Did you ever reconnect?" Nancy read it over my shoulder. "Have you called him?" "Not yet." I pulled out my phone, staring at his number. "What if—" "Call," Quinn said simply. I did. "Audrey?" Dad's voice was exactly as I remembered. "I saw your post. Are you okay?" "I'm better now." My voice shook slightly. "Mom and Caden moved out today. I know. Your mother called to inform me what a terrible daughter you are." He chuckled. "Sounds like you finally saw through her act." "Why didn't you tell me? About the money? About why you really left?" "Would you have believed me then?" "No," I admitted. "I had to see it for myself. Some lessons are like that." He paused. "I'm in town next week. Coffee? I'd like that." After we hung up, Nancy raised her wine glass. "To facing fears. To boundaries," Quinn added. "To freedom," I finished. My phone lit up again. Mum's latest Facebook post tagging me. "Pray for those who forget their family obligations. Some wounds never heal." I clicked block, without hesitation. "Speaking of healing," Nancy said, "remember that therapist I mentioned? She specializes in family trauma. No pressure, but—" "I'll call tomorrow," I said. "It's time." Quinn started unpacking boxes, revealing items I'd forgotten I owned. Books Mom had called wasteful. Art pieces she'd dismissed as tasteless. Pieces of me I'd packed away to make room for their needs. "Look what I found," he said, pulling out a dusty camera. "Didn't you used to love photography?" Before Caden decided he was the artistic one. I took the camera, muscle memory clicking the settings into place. Mom said I was being competitive when I kept at it. "Take my picture," Nancy posed dramatically. "Let's make new memories." The viewfinder felt like home. I started shooting, Nancy laughing, Quinn unpacking, the sunset painting my empty apartment in possibilities. "These are good," Quinn said, looking at the previews. "Really good." "There's a gallery near my office," Nancy mentioned casually. "They do local artist showcases." "One step at a time," I laughed, but I didn't put the camera down. The doorbell rang. We all tensed. Through the peephole, I saw Corbin holding a package. "Special delivery." It was a doormat. The text read, "No guilt trips allowed. Building warming gift, he grinned. Plus, I changed all the locks. Again, just in case. Stay for pizza, Quinn offered. We're celebrating Independence Day. My phone buzzed with a text from Allison. Final paperwork filed. The apartment's officially drama-proof. Drink soon? Looking around at these people, my chosen family, I felt something unfamiliar bloom in my chest. Not guilt, not obligation, just peace. Hey! Nancy called from the kitchen. Where should we put your coffee maker? The one your mum said was too expensive? My coffee maker, I corrected, smiling. And right on the counter where everyone can see it. Quinn snapped a picture of me setting it up. For your next Reddit update? No, I said. For me. To remember this moment, the sun set on my first real day of freedom, painting the empty walls with promise. Tomorrow, I'd pick paint colors. Next week, I'd meet Dad. Maybe soon, I'd submit photos to that gallery. But tonight, surrounded by love that came with no price tags, I was exactly where I needed to be. So, Quinn said, raising his wine glass, what's next? I looked at my camera, at my coffee maker, at my life finally becoming mine. Everything, I said. Everything is next. The future stretched out before me, blank as my walls, ready for whatever I chose to create. For the first time, the only expectations I had to meet were my own. And that felt like the biggest victory of all.
You're making the biggest mistake of your life. My mother's voice still echoes in my head, 5 years later. The way she gripped her wine glass that night, knuckles white, you'd think I'd announced I was joining a cult instead of getting married. I'm Summer, and this is the story of how I watched my family's empire crumble while building my own. But let me take you back to that dinner first, the night everything changed. He's a nobody, my father growled, jabbing his fork toward me. A street artist who'll never amount to anything. Is this how you repay us for your education, for everything we've given you? I sat there, 27 years old, an MBA from Stanford under my belt, being lectured like a teenager who'd stayed out past curfew. Across the table, my sister Kira smirked into her salad. Her husband Owen reached for the bread basket, trying to look anywhere but at me. Kylan sells his paintings, I said quietly. He's talented. He just needs... Needs what? Kira cut in. A miracle? God, Summer, I thought you were smarter than this. Owen's firm is hiring in accounting. You could... I'm not breaking up with him. My voice was steady, even as my hands shook under the table. I'm marrying him. I love him. My mother set down her glass with a sharp clink. Love doesn't pay bills, darling. Look at your sister. She married sensibly. A proper match. I don't want a proper match, I said. I want Kylan. Then you want nothing to do with this family. My father's words fell like stones. No trust fund, no connections, no help. You're choosing this vagrant over your future. I stood up, my chair scraping against the hardwood. He's not a vagrant, he's brilliant, and one day you'll all see that. The only thing we'll see, Kira drawled, is you crawling back when you're tired of eating ramen in a studio apartment. I left without another word. That was the last time I sat at their table. 5 years later, I'm sitting in my own kitchen, sipping coffee and reading an email that just popped up. From Kira, the first contact in years. Dear Summer, I hope this finds you well. It's been too long, and I've been thinking about family lately. Would you like to meet for coffee? Just sisters, catching up. I miss you. I almost laugh out loud. Kira doesn't miss anyone except herself. Something's wrong. I can smell it through the screen. Everything okay? Kylan appears behind me, fresh paint on his fingers. He kisses the top of my head, peering at my laptop. Is that from... Kira, I confirm, wanting to catch up. He tenses slightly. You don't have to see her. No, I say, already typing a reply. But I want to. Something's happening with them. I can feel it. Kylan squeezes my shoulder. Just be careful. They hurt you once. I reach up and touch his hand, remembering those early days. Our tiny apartment, the rejected gallery submissions, the nights I spent building spreadsheets and contact lists while he painted, the whispers at country club events about how I'd thrown my life away, if they only knew. I'll be fine, I tell him. They can't hurt me anymore. We made sure of that. My phone buzzes. Kira's reply comes instantly. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. at some overpriced cafe downtown. Of course she picked the most expensive place she could think of. I close my laptop and follow Kylan to his studio. Massive canvases line the walls, each worth more than my parents' Mercedes. He's working on a new piece, all bold strokes and hidden meanings, just like our life together, more than meets the eye. Want to know something funny? I ask, watching him work. They still think we're struggling. After all this time, they probably imagine us in some cramped rental, eating cheap takeout. Kylan grins, adding a streak of gold to the canvas. Let them think what they want. We know better. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Elisa, our gallery director. Major collector interested in the Blue series, offering 7 figures. Call me. I smile, typing a quick response. Then I reply to Kira. See you tomorrow, sis. Let her think I'm desperate for family connection. Let her think I'm still the foolish little sister who threw everything away for love. Tomorrow, I'll find out what's really going on, but for now, I have an empire to run. The cafe Kira chose screams old money, all crystal chandeliers and white tablecloths. I arrive early, wearing my struggling artist's wife costume, simple sweater, minimal makeup, no designer labels. The hostess eyes me suspiciously until I mention my sister's name. Oh, Mrs. Phillips's table, right this way. I spot Kira immediately. She's thinner than I remember, her perfectly highlighted hair unable to hide the stress lines around her eyes. She stands to air-kiss my cheek, designer perfume overwhelming. Summer, darling, you look healthy. Translation, you look poor but well-fed. I smile blandly. You too, Kira, though maybe a little tired. A flicker of something, anger, worry, crosses her face before she masks it. Oh, you know how it is. Owen's business keeps us so busy. The social obligations alone. I wouldn't know, I say, settling into my chair. My social calendar is pretty light these days. The waiter appears. Kira orders a $20 green smoothie. I ask for black coffee, watching her try not to wince at my pedestrian choice. So, she starts fidgeting with her wedding ring. How's Kyle? Kylan, I correct. He's painting, always painting. Still? She forces a laugh. I mean, hasn't he considered something more stable? Owen's firm is always... He's doing fine, I cut in. We're doing fine. My phone buzzes. It's Elisa. Dubai collector offering stupid money for the entire red collection. Call me. I silence the phone as Kira leans forward, dropping her voice. Look, Summer, I'll be direct. Mum and Dad are concerned about you, about your future. After 5 years of silence, how thoughtful. Don't be difficult, she snaps, then catches herself. We hate seeing you struggle, and with everything that's happening. What's happening? She sits back, smoothie untouched. Nothing. Just the economy, you know? Everyone's feeling it. Even Owen says... My phone buzzes again. This time it's Haley. Tokyo gallery emergency. Need approval for shipping insurance. 12 months SIM value. Sorry, I murmur, typing a quick response. Work stuff. Oh, where are you working these days? Just admin work for an art gallery. Kira's eyes light up with pity. Oh, sweetie, is that what it's come to? You had such potential. I think back to those early days. Kylan painting in our tiny living room while I worked 3 jobs. Nights spent cold-calling galleries, building websites, networking with art critics. The first big sale. How we celebrated with cheap champagne, dreaming of more. We all make choices, I say simply. Yes, well, about choices. Kira's voice turns syrupy sweet. Dad's been thinking he might have a position available, entry level of course, but... A commotion near the entrance draws our attention. A woman in expensive yoga wear is arguing with the hostess, her voice carrying. "What do you mean my card was declined? Do you know who I am? Call my husband's office." Kira pales slightly, suddenly very interested in her smoothie. "Everything okay?" I ask innocently. "Fine, everything's fine." She fumbles with her phone. "Oh, look at the time. I should go. Owen needs me for a thing." As she stands, I notice her designer bag. It's a knockoff. A good one, but I've spent enough time in the luxury market to spot the difference. "Kira," I say softly, "what's really going on?" "Nothing." She's gathering her things too quickly. "I'll have Mum call you about that job offer. Just think about it, okay?" She hurries out, leaving me with the bill. Classic Kira. My phone rings. Elisa again. This time I answer. "Summer, we need decisions on the Dubai deal. They're offering 8 figures. "Counter with 15% higher," I say, watching through the window as Kira argues with the parking attendant. "And call our contact at the Times. I think it's time for that feature on Kailan's rise in the art world." "You sure? I thought we were keeping things quiet." Things change. I sign the cheque, adding a generous tip. "Oh, and Elisa, remember that old warehouse space we looked at? The one near your parents' country club?" "That's the one. Make an offer. I think it's time we opened a new gallery." Walking out, I pass the woman whose card was declined. She's crying into her phone. "Owen, please! You said the accounts would be fine by now." I smile to myself. Owen. Kira's Owen. Well, well. My phone buzzes with a text from my mother. "Darling, please call. We need to discuss your future." Oh, Mom, if you only knew, my future has never been brighter. Yours, on the other hand. "They're selling Grandma's house." Elisa's voice crackles through my phone speaker. "Your parents just listed it." I freeze in the middle of reviewing contracts. "What?" "It hit the market an hour ago. Urgent sale, way under market value. Want me to send the listing?" My grandmother's Victorian mansion, the heart of our family for generations, the place where I learned to walk, where Kylan proposed, where I last saw my family whole. Now just another asset to liquidate. "Send it," I say, my throat tight, "and get me everything you can on Owen's company." An hour later, Hayley drops a thick folder on my desk. "Owen's firm is underwater, multiple SEC investigations, frozen accounts, the works. They're trying to keep it quiet, but nothing stays quiet forever." I flip through the documents, each page revealing another crack in my family's perfect facade. What about my parents? Their investment portfolio was heavily tied to Owen's firm. Hayley hesitates. "They're in trouble, Summer." My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. "Aunt Summer, it's Adeline. Can we talk?" I haven't seen my niece since she was 11. Now she's 16, and apparently reaching out behind her mother's back. "Meet me at the gallery," I text back. Adeline arrives looking like a younger, softer version of Kira, but where her mother radiates superiority, Adeline's eyes hold something different. Curiosity, maybe even hope. "Mum doesn't know I'm here," she blurts out. "They're fighting all the time. Dad's never home, and when he is, he's just staring at his laptop looking sick. Grandma keeps crying on the phone and—" "Breathe," I tell her, leading her through the gallery. "Start from the beginning." She talks as we walk, her words tumbling out between gasps. The whispers at school about her dad's company, her mother's maxed out credit cards, the country club gossip about the Jensens' fall from grace. "And now they're selling great-grandma's house," she finishes. "Mum says it's temporary, just until things stabilise, but you don't believe her." Adeline shakes her head, stopping in front of one of Kylan's paintings. "This is beautiful," she whispers. "Mum says Uncle Kylan's a failure, but these are amazing." "Your mother says a lot of things." "I know." She turns to me, eyes bright. "That's why I came. You got out. You built something real. I want to learn from you." Before I can respond, the gallery door chimes. Kira storms in, face flushed with rage. "Adeline, get in the car, now." "Mum, now." Adeline shoots me an apologetic look before scurrying out. Kira rounds on me, all pretense of sisterly affection gone. Stay away from my daughter. She came to me, I say calmly, maybe because she's tired of living in a house of lies. Lies? Kira laughs hysterically. You want to talk about lies? How about you, playing at being a gallery administrator while your husband wastes his life on finger paintings? I walk to my office, Kira following like a heat-seeking missile. Speaking of lies, I say, how's Owen's firm doing? She stops cold. What? And Mum and Dad's investments? Grandma's house? I turn, meeting her eyes. The country club membership you can't afford anymore? You! Her face contorts. You've been digging, enjoying our problems, aren't you? Little Summer, finally feeling superior. No, Kira, I'm just wondering why you're here, really here. She deflates slightly, sinking into a chair. We need help, she whispers. Just until Owen's deals come through. A small loan, your husband. His art must bring in something. My husband's finger paintings? I can't help the edge in my voice. The ones you've mocked for years. I was wrong, okay? Tears smear her expensive mascara. Is that what you want to hear? We're desperate. Mum and Dad are losing everything. Owen's facing. He might go to... She breaks off, sobbing. I should feel vindicated. Instead, I just feel tired. I'll think about it, I say finally. Really? Hope flickers across her face. On one condition, you all come to dinner at my place. Your apartment? My house, I correct her. Friday night, 7 o'clock. Bring the whole family. She stands, straightening her knockoff bag. Thank you, Summer. You won't regret this. Oh, but someone will regret this Friday. Just not me. After she leaves, I call Kylan. Remember how we talked about revealing everything? I think it's time. Are you sure? I look at Grandma's house listing on my screen, then at the SEC documents about Owen's firm. Yes, let's show them exactly who they've been looking down on all these years. Friday can't come soon enough. Friday evening arrives with the precision of a well-orchestrated play. Elisa and Haley help me set the stage, arranging Kylan's most valuable pieces throughout our penthouse. The dining room table gleams with crystal and silver, all the trappings my mother once claimed I'd never have again. The Dubai contracts are signed, Elisa says, adjusting a painting worth more than my parents' house. And the Times article goes live at midnight. Perfect timing, I smile, checking my watch. They should be here in 20 minutes. Kylan emerges from his studio, trading his paint-splattered clothes for a crisp suit. Ready for this? I've been ready for 5 years. The doorman calls up at exactly 7. I watch through the security feed as my family clusters in the private elevator, their expressions shifting from disdain to confusion as it rises past the 20th floor. The doors open, and I savour their first reactions. My mother's sharp intake of breath, my father's narrowed eyes, Kira's mouth falling open, Owen's visible gulp. "Welcome," I say warmly. "Please come in." They shuffle into our foyer, trying to hide their shock at the marble floors, the soaring ceilings, the casual display of wealth they thought we'd never achieve. "This is—" my mother starts, then stops. "You live here?" "Oh, yes," I guide them through to the living room. "Drink. We have that Bordeaux you used to love, Mum." "How?" Owen's eyes dart around, lingering on each painting. "This building, these units cost a fortune," I finish for him. "Yes, they do." Adeline breaks away from her parents, moving to examine a massive canvas. "Uncle Kylan, did you paint all these?" "Everyone," he says quietly. "They're incredible," she breathes. "They're worth nothing," Kira snaps, but her voice wavers. "Right?" I pour the wine, letting the silence stretch. Finally, my father clears his throat. "Summer, about that loan—" "Of course," I gesture to the dining room. "Let's discuss it over dinner." They follow me like dazed sheep, taking their seats around the table. Our private chef serves the first course. My mother's eyes widen at the caviar. "So," I begin casually, "how much do you need?" Owen shifts uncomfortably. "2 million would tide us over until—" "Until what?" I ask. Until your Ponzi scheme recovers? He chokes on his wine. How did you... No. I pull out my tablet. The SEC investigation is quite thorough. Would you like to see it? Now see here, my father starts, but I cut him off. Or should we discuss the margin calls on your accounts, the foreclosure notices, Grandma's house? Summer, my mother pleads, we're family. Family? I laugh. Now we're family, not when you cut me off, not when you spread rumours about my poor life choices. We were protecting you, Kira bursts out. That's what families do. No, I stand, pressing a button on my phone. The far wall lights up with a projection. Financial statements, bank accounts, property deeds. This is what families do. They support each other, build each other up, not tear each other down. They stare at the numbers, millions, tens of millions, all under Kylan's name and mine. That's impossible, Owen whispers. Is it? I swipe to the next screen. Press coverage, gallery openings, auction results. While you were all pitying us, we built an empire. Every painting you mocked. Collectors fight over them now. But, my father's face is ashen, you said you were just a gallery administrator. I'm the CEO, I correct him, of all of it. The galleries, the auctions, the international sales. Every piece of art Kylan creates, I turn into gold. Silence falls. Even Kira seems speechless. So yes, I continue, sitting back down. I could loan you 2 million. I could save Grandma's house. I could fix everything you broke. Hope flickers across their faces. But I won't. What? My mother gasps. Actions have consequences, I say softly. You taught me that, remember, when you cut me off? Summer, please. Kira reaches for my hand. I pull away. The Times is running a feature at midnight. Art World's Power. Couple reveals all. Your social circle will know everything by breakfast. You can't, my father growls. I already have. I raise my glass. To family. Adeline suddenly laughs, a bright, genuine sound. You're amazing, Aunt Summer. Adeline, Kira snaps. No, Mom, they are amazing. While you were all looking down on them, they were building something real. I look at my niece with new appreciation. Would you like to intern at the gallery this summer, Adeline? She will not, Kira stands, grabbing Adeline's arm. Actually, Adeline pulls free. I will. I want to learn from someone who creates value, not just spends it. The look on Kira's face is worth every struggle of the past 5 years. Dinner isn't over, but the real feast, revenge, is just beginning to be served. The rest of dinner unravels like a badly knit sweater. My mother alternates between tears and attempts at manipulation. My father's face grows redder with each sip of the wine he can no longer afford. Owen stares at his phone, watching his company's reputation implode in real time as the Times article goes live early. This is a mistake, Kira hisses, gripping her water glass. You're destroying this family. No, I reply calmly. You did that yourselves. I'm just refusing to fix it. After everything we did for you, my mother starts. Everything you did for me? I set down my fork. Let's talk about what you did for me. Remember Sarah's wedding? Kira pales. Summer, don't. No, let's tell this story. I turn to Adeline. Your mother told everyone at our cousin's wedding that I was only with Kylan because he was secretly wealthy, that I was a gold digger. Remember that, Kira? I was trying to save your reputation. By lying, when you thought we were poor? I laugh. The irony is delicious. My father slams his hand on the table. Enough. You've made your point. You're successful. Fine. But we're still your parents. Are you? I stand, walking to the window. Parents support their children. They don't bet against them. They don't spread rumours. They don't... We were right, he roars. Look at you now, cold, vindictive, enjoying our suffering. Larry, my mother touches his arm. Please. No, Tatum, she sits in her ivory tower judging us after we gave her everything. Everything except faith, Kylan speaks for the first time. Everything except respect. Owen's phone pings loudly. His face goes ash white. The SEC! They're announcing the investigation. It's public. Kira grabs his phone, scrolling frantically. No, no, no! Your accounts will be frozen by morning, I tell them. The country club membership, cancelled. The private school tuition for Adeline, due next week, and Grandma's house. I pause. Well, that's already gone. You knew, my mother whispers. You knew all of this was coming. Of course I knew. I have better lawyers than you do. And you let us walk right into this trap, Kira's voice breaks. Your own family. Like you let me walk into that dinner 5 years ago, knowing Dad was planning to cut me off, knowing Mom had already cancelled my credit cards. Silence falls. Even Adeline looks shocked at this revelation. You knew? I ask Kira. You all knew? We thought, my mother dabs at her eyes, we thought a little hardship would bring you to your senses. Instead, it brought me success. I press another button on my phone. A screen lights up with a familiar address. Oh, look, Grandma's house just sold. Already? My father stands. That's impossible. It was only listed this morning. Yes, I bought it. The silence is deafening. You... Kira's mascara runs as tears fall. You bought our childhood home? Someone had to preserve the family legacy. I shrug. Since you were all so busy destroying it. Owen's phone pings again, and again. The news is spreading. Please, he begs. Summer, we can work something out. I have connections. Had connections, I correct him, past tense. Adeline moves to stand beside me. Can I still intern at the gallery? Of course. Adeline, Kira shrieks. Get back here. No, Mom, I'm staying. Someone needs to learn from this mess. My mother rises shakily. We should go. Clearly we're not welcome here. Oh, but you are, I smile. Stay for dessert. We're having humble pie. You think you're so clever, my father spits. So superior, but money doesn't make you better than us. No, I agree. Your actions made me better than you. I learned from every cruel word, every dismissive gesture. You taught me how to be strong, how to be ruthless. Congratulations. They file out slowly, defeated, all except Adeline, who hangs back. That was brutal, she says, but they deserved it? Yes, I look at my niece, really look at her. They did. Are you sure about the internship? She nods. Someone needs to break the cycle. Might as well be me. After they're gone, Kylan wraps his arms around me. You okay? I lean back against him, watching the city lights. You know what's funny? For years I dreamed of this moment, but now I just feel free. I turn to face him. We did it. We really did it. No. He kisses my forehead. You did it. I just painted. My phone buzzes. Elisa sending screenshots of the social media explosion. The mighty Jensen family's fall from grace is trending. Sometimes revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting free. And I'm finally, completely free. The aftermath hits like a tsunami. By morning, my phone is flooded with messages from long-lost relatives and family friends, all suddenly remembering my existence. The country club crowd that once shunned us now desperately seeks connections. Another interview request, Hayley announces, waving her tablet. Forbes this time. I'm sorting through emails when Elisa bursts in. You need to see this. She pulls up a video on her phone. It's my mother, mascara smeared, being escorted out of the country club. This is a mistake, she shrieks at the security guard. We've been members for 30 years. Should we do something? Elisa asks. No, I reply, but my voice catches slightly. They made their choices. My phone rings. Adeline. Mum's having a meltdown, she says without preamble. She's threatening to send me to boarding school if I take the internship. Can she afford boarding school? No. Adeline laughs darkly. She can't afford anything anymore. Dad's frozen all the accounts. He might be facing charges. Before I can respond, my office door flies open. Kira storms in, looking wild. Fix this, she demands. Fix it now. Security, I call out, but she waves a piece of paper in my face. Your precious gallery. It's built on family land. Dad's name is still on the deed. He'll shut you down. I smile, taking the paper. You mean this deed? Check the date. She snatches it back, eyes widening as she reads. This is from 3 years ago. You bought it? Through a shell company. Dad was too proud to check who was really buying. You've been planning this, she whispers. All of it. For years. No, I lean back. I've been succeeding for years. This is just the natural conclusion. Owen's going to jail. Her voice breaks. Did you know that would happen? He committed fraud, Kira. Actions have consequences. Like you're so perfect, she spits, living in your tower playing Art World royalty. Mum, Adeline appears in the doorway. Stop. You, Kira whirls. Get in the car. We're leaving. No. Adeline moves to stand beside my desk. I'm staying. Someone has to learn how to build something real. I am your mother. And she's my aunt, the only one in this family who actually created something instead of just spending Daddy's money. Kira recoils as if slapped. I gave you everything. You gave me things, Adeline corrects. Aunt Summer's giving me knowledge. My phone buzzes. Kylan sending a photo. He's at Grandma's house overseeing repairs. Keeping the old girl in the family, his message reads. The house. Kira sees the photo. You're really keeping it? Someone should. It's where I learned my most important lesson after all. What lesson? That family isn't about blood or money. It's about who stands by you when you have neither. Tears stream down Kira's face. We were trying to protect you. No, I stand. You were trying to control me. There's a difference. And now you're controlling us, taking everything. I'm not taking anything. Your husband's crimes, Dad's bad investments, your overspending. You did this to yourselves. Security finally arrives, but I wave them off. Kira slumps into a chair, defeated. What do you want? She whispers. Money? Public apology? What will make you help us? Nothing, I reply softly, because this isn't about revenge anymore. It's about consequences. We're your family. No, Adeline cuts in. You're her relatives. Kylan is her family. The people who believed in her, they're her family. You're just DNA. Kira stands slowly, dignity in tatters. You've won, Summer. Congratulations. I hope it was worth it. It wasn't about winning, I tell her, retreating back. It was about surviving. You just never thought I could do both. After she's gone, Adeline perches on my desk. That was intense. Welcome to the art world, intern. First lesson. Every masterpiece has dark shadows. My phone rings again, the Times wanting a follow-up interview. The headline, Art World's power couple reveals hidden empire has gone viral. Should I take it? I ask Adeline. She grins. Absolutely. Show them what real success looks like. I answer the call, watching through my office window as Kira's car pulls away. In the reflection, I see myself. Not the family failure, not the poor artist's wife, but the woman who built an empire from their discarded dreams. Yes, I tell the reporter, I have quite a story to tell. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's success they have to watch, powerless to deny or destroy. And I'm just getting started. A week later, I'm standing in Grandma's house, my house now, running my fingers along the familiar banister. Kylan's team has already started restoration work, bringing life back to the old walls. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing since the Times article. Owen's arrest made national news. My parents have fled to their lake house, hiding from reporters. Kira's social media has gone dark. The East Wing needs the most work, Kylan says, coming up behind me. But the bones are good. Like me, I smile, but it doesn't quite reach my eyes. The doorbell rings. It's my mother, looking smaller somehow, her designer clothes replaced by simple slacks and a sweater. Summer, she says quietly, can we talk? I lead her to the kitchen, the heart of the house, where she once taught me to bake cookies. Now she sits at the counter like a stranger, hands clasped tightly. Your father's had a heart attack. The words hang in the air. I grip the counter. He's stable, she continues, but he's asking for you. Why? Because you won. Her laugh is hollow. Everything we built, everything we thought we were protecting, it's gone, and you built something bigger. I didn't want to win, Mum. I wanted you to love me anyway. I did love you, she bursts out. I loved you enough to try to save you from struggle, from hardship. No, I cut her off. You loved your idea of me, the perfect daughter who'd marry rich and live your kind of life. You never loved who I actually was. And who are you? She whispers. Someone who chose love over money, who built something real instead of living on appearances. Who learned that the hardship you feared was actually the foundation of everything good in my life? She wipes her eyes. Your father, he wanted to tell you he's proud, finally proud. Too late. Is it? She reaches for her purse, pulls out an old photo. It's me at 5, covered in paint, beaming at the camera. You always were the artist. I was just too blind to see it. The front door opens. Adeline arrives for her first day of internship. She freezes when she sees my mother. Should I come back? No, I say. Stay. You're family now. My mother flinches at the words. Tatum, she starts. That's what you never understood, I tell her. Family isn't inherited, it's built, like success, like respect. Can it be rebuilt? She asks softly. Before I can answer, my phone rings. It's Elisa. The Dubai collection just sold, triple the estimate. Good, I say. Transfer the usual percentage to the foundation. Foundation? My mother asks. The Dean Foundation for Arts Education? Adeline explains. Aunt Summer funds scholarships for artists who need support, like Kylan once did. My mother's face crumples. All this time while we were looking down on you. You were looking the wrong way, I finish. Now, if you'll excuse us, Adeline has her first lesson in gallery management. Summer, please, your father is in the best hospital, receiving the best care, because despite everything I made sure of that, not out of love, but because I'm not like you. I don't destroy people just because I can. She stands slowly. When did you become so strong? The day you made me choose between your approval and my happiness. I chose happiness. Everything else, the success, the money, the power, that was just a bonus. And revenge? She asks quietly. That was justice, natural consequences, the universe balancing its books. She walks to the door, then turns. The house, will you keep it in the family? I am keeping it in the family, my family, the one I chose. After she leaves, Adeline helps me sort through old photos, deciding which to keep, which to store away. Was it worth it? She asks. The revenge? I look around the house, at Kylan sketching in the corner, at the young intern eager to learn, at the empire we built from nothing but talent and determination. Revenge wasn't the goal, I tell her. Success was, living well was. They just happened to look like revenge to people who thought I'd fail. My phone buzzes again. Another interview request. Another offer for Kylan's work. Another chapter in the story they never thought I'd write. Ready for your first lesson? I ask Adeline. She nods eagerly. Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Outside, a moving truck arrives with the first pieces for the house's new gallery space. Inside, the ghosts of old hurts finally begin to fade. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living so fully, so successfully, that those who hurt you become footnotes in your story, instead of its authors. And my story? It's just beginning. The gallery opening at Grandma's house draws hundreds. Art critics mingle with collectors, champagne flows, and Kylan's newest collection commands the restored walls. But it's the small gallery upstairs that matters most. A hidden gem featuring young, unknown artists, each supported by our foundation. This is incredible, Adeline says, now confident in her role as assistant curator. Look at the turnout. I'm about to respond when I spot them, my parents, lingering uncertainly at the entrance. Dad looks frail after his heart attack, leaning on a cane. They haven't RSVP'd. I haven't seen them since that day in the kitchen. Should we call security? Elisa appears at my elbow. No, I say. Let them in. They make their way through the crowd, my mother's eyes widening at each familiar face. People who once attended her garden parties, now here celebrating her outcast daughter's success. Summer! My father's voice is rough. This house, you've done something remarkable here. Yes, I agree, I have. Is there... He clears his throat. Is there somewhere we can talk, privately? I lead them to Grandma's old study, now my office. They sink into the leather chairs, looking small against the backdrop of Kylan's most personal work. A portrait of me at my desk, power and vulnerability balanced in every brushstroke. Owen's sentencing is tomorrow, my father says. I know. Kira, she's moving in with us, starting over. Good for her. Summer, my mother leans forward. We've lost everything. Our reputation, our money, our place in society. But losing you, that was our biggest mistake. Finally figured that out, did you? We were wrong, my father says simply. About everything. About you. About Kylan. About what matters. And now that I'm successful, you want to make amends? No, my mother surprises me. We want to make things right, not because you're successful, but because you're happy. We see that now. The foundation, my father gestures to a brochure on my desk. Supporting young artists. That's remarkable. Someone should, I say. Someone should believe in dreams that don't fit into neat, socially acceptable boxes. A knock at the door. It's Kylan. They're asking for you downstairs. The Times wants photos. My parents start to rise, but I hold up a hand. Stay. Watch. Through the study window, they can see the grand gallery below. I descend the stairs, cameras flashing. Kylan joins me, his hand warm in mine. We're photographed beside his masterpiece, a massive canvas depicting a phoenix rising from golden ashes. When I return, my father's crying, actually crying. I never saw it, he whispers. How strong you are, how capable. I was so busy protecting what I had, I couldn't see what you could build. I don't need your approval anymore, I tell them. I don't need anything from you. We know, my mother says. That's why we're here, not to ask for help, not to reconnect with success, but to say, we were wrong, completely wrong. And Kira? Learning, my father sighs. The hard way, like we are. Adeline appears in the doorway. Aunt Summer, the Dubai collectors are here. My parents stand. We should go. No, I surprise myself saying, stay, watch what your daughter built, not to rub it in, but so you understand, really understand, what you almost stopped from existing. They follow me downstairs, hanging back as I work the room. I'm in my element here, moving between art world elite and scholarship recipients with equal ease. Kylan catches my eye from across the room, his smile saying everything. Later, as the crowd thins, my father touches my arm. Thank you for letting us see this, for not destroying us completely when you could have. I'm not you, I tell him. I don't destroy things, I build them. Can you build bridges? My mother asks softly. I look at Kylan, at Adeline, at the empire we've created, at the young artists whose dreams we're funding, at my parents, humbled but finally seeing me. Bridges take time, I say, and trust, and proof that both sides want to cross. We do, they say together, then start small. Come to dinner next week. Meet the real me, the real us. No expectations, no past, no judgment. Just dinner. They nod, understanding the gift and the warning it contains. As they leave, Kylan wraps his arms around me. You okay? Better than okay, I say, watching them go. I'm free, really free, not from them, but from needing them, from wanting their approval, from the past. And the revenge? Turned into something better, something that helps people instead of hurting them. Because sometimes the best endings aren't about getting even, they're about getting better, growing stronger, building higher. And sometimes, just sometimes, they're about learning to build bridges instead of burning them.
The crystal champagne flute trembled slightly in my hand as I watched my mother-in-law tap her designer stiletto against her own glass. The sound rang through the penthouse party like a death knell. My name is Linda, and I've spent 12 years perfecting the art of the polite smile. Tonight would be my masterpiece. To my brilliant son, Max. Jacqueline's voice carried across the room of 50-something guests, all gathered to celebrate my husband's promotion to senior partner. You've made the Lynch name proud, darling. I took a measured sip of champagne, remembering all the late nights I'd spent editing his proposals, the countless dinners I'd hosted to help him network, the 3 relocations I'd endured for his career advancement. None of that existed in Jacqueline's carefully curated reality. And because every rising star needs his sanctuary, she continued, her red lips curving into what could almost pass for warmth, I've purchased you a little something extra. She gestured to her assistant, who handed Max an envelope tied with a silk ribbon. The room held its collective breath. I didn't. I knew what was coming. A luxury condo in the heart of downtown, Jacqueline announced, her voice dripping with satisfaction. For those late nights at the office, of course. She winked, and several guests chuckled. Every successful man needs his space. Max's face lit up as he pulled out the glossy photos. Mother, this is incredible. I felt Ava, my sister, squeeze my arm. She'd flown in specifically for this party, and now I watched understanding dawn in her eyes. Linda, she whispered, tell me you're not just going to... My phone buzzed in my clutch. I excused myself, slipping away from the crowd, gathering around Max and his mother. In the quiet of the powder room, I read the message from my attorney. Wire transfer confirmed. Property closes tomorrow at 9 a.m. Congratulations on your purchase, Mrs. Palmer. I touched up my lipstick, adjusting my emerald green dress, the one Jacqueline had once called trying too hard. When I returned to the party, Max was already deep in conversation with Marley, his young coordinator, their heads bent close together over the condo photos. Linda, darling, Jacqueline's voice cut through the crowd. Come see what Max will be doing with his new bachelor pad, though perhaps we should call it his executive suite. Sounds more appropriate. She laughed, crystal and sharp. I approached, champagne in hand. It's beautiful, Jacqueline. The Morrison building, isn't it? Penthouse suite? Why, yes. She looked surprised, I knew. You've seen it? Oh, I'm quite familiar with the property. I smiled, thinking of the paperwork sitting in my lawyer's office. In fact, I had my eye on it myself. You? Jacqueline's perfectly shaped eyebrows arched. Whatever for? Your little hobby business hardly requires a downtown office. Mother, Max warned, finally looking up from his conversation with Marley. Oh, I'm not offended, I said lightly, taking another sip of champagne. Though I should mention the previous owner, Mr. Harrison. Lovely man, very particular about who he sells to. Did you meet him during the negotiations? Jacqueline waved her hand dismissively. My attorney handled everything. The deal is done. My phone buzzed again. Another message from my lawyer. Previous owner confirms. Your offer takes precedence. Mrs. Lynch's wire transfer will be returned Monday. Well, I raised my glass, meeting Jacqueline's eyes. Here's to new beginnings. The party continued around us, a swirl of congratulations and corporate small talk. I watched Max work the room, stopping occasionally to share knowing looks with Marley. I watched Jacqueline hold court among her social circle, probably already planning how to redecorate her son's new love nest. Neither of them noticed when I slipped away early, citing a headache. Neither of them knew about the meetings I'd had with Mr. Harrison, about the shell company I'd created, about the wire transfer that had cleared hours before Jacqueline's. Neither of them had ever bothered to notice much about me at all. As my car pulled away from the curb, I got one final message. Deed will be recorded first thing tomorrow. The Morrison Building, Penthouse B, will be officially yours at 9:01 a.m. I leaned back against the leather seat, finally allowing myself a real smile. 12 years of being underestimated, of being the good wife, the quiet daughter-in-law, the woman with the cute little hobby business. It had all led to this moment. Tomorrow morning, Jacqueline Lynch would learn what it felt like to be blindsided, and that would only be the beginning. "It's just a phase, dear," Jacqueline had said 3 years ago, patting my hand at Sunday brunch. "All wives go through this. Need to feel productive. Max tells me you're playing with some sort of recycling app." I remembered staring into my mimosa, wondering if she'd ever actually asked what my company did. We'd already secured 2 patents by then. "Linda?" Otis's voice pulled me back to the present. We sat in his downtown office, watching the morning traffic 20 stories below. "The transfer cleared. It's done." I checked my watch. 9:15 a.m. "Has she found out yet?" He smiled, sliding a folder across his desk. "Mr. Harrison's assistant just texted. Jacqueline's lawyer showed up at 9 sharp with the paperwork. Harrison handed them your fully executed deed instead. Apparently, the lawyer turned 3 shades of purple. Good. I opened the folder, running my fingers over the deed. "And the shell company?" "Airtight. Linda Palmer LLC is officially a real estate holding company. Nothing connects it to your tech firm." He leaned back. "Though that might not matter much longer, given yesterday's valuation." My phone buzzed. Ava. "DEFCON 1. Jackie's having a meltdown. Called Max home from work." "You know," Otis said, watching me read the message, "when we were in law school together, I never pegged you as the revenge type." "This isn't revenge," I replied, standing to look out the window. "This is correction." My phone rang. Max. I let it go to voicemail. "Remember the investor meeting last month?" I asked Otis. "When Isaias presented our carbon capture technology?" "Hard to forget." The room went dead silent when he finished the demonstration. "Jacqueline was having lunch at the same restaurant. Saw me through the window. Know what she did?" I turned to face him. She waved and mouthed, "Have fun with your little project," while I was signing a $100 million contract. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Marley. "Max is worried sick. Please call him back. This isn't funny." Otis raised an eyebrow at my laugh. "What's next?" "Now? I go to work, like I do every day." I gathered my things. The difference is, today, everyone knows exactly what I've been working on. The elevator ride to my office took exactly 90 seconds. In that time, I received 3 more texts from Max and 1 from Jacqueline herself. "We need to talk. Immediately." I stepped into our office suite, where Isaias was already commanding attention in the main conference room. Through the glass walls, I watched him gesture at projection screens showing our latest test results. "Linda," he waved me in. "Perfect timing. The EPA representatives have questions about implementation." For the next 2 hours, I did what I'd always done: led meetings, made decisions, built the future. The only difference was that today, no one was calling it a hobby. My assistant knocked during a brief break. "Mrs. Lynch is in the lobby. She's quite insistent. Tell her I'm in meetings all day. She's welcome to schedule time through proper channels." I turned back to my notes, then added, "Oh, and Sarah, make sure security has her photo." Around noon, Ava brought lunch. "Max is losing it," she said, unpacking sandwiches. "Jackie's convinced you've lost your mind from stress or something. They can't process that you actually outmaneuvered them." 10 years, I said quietly. 10 years of Christmas dinners where she asked Max when he'd let me go back to work, as if I wasn't already building something bigger than their whole family fortune. Speaking of which, Ava pulled out her tablet, showing me a news alert. Our company's latest press release had hit the wire. The stock was already up 12%. My phone lit up. Max again. We need to talk. Mother is beside herself. What are you trying to prove? I typed back. Nothing to prove. Already proved it. Check the morning business news. Ava watched me put the phone down. You know this is just the beginning, right? Jackie won't let this go. Good, I said, turning back to my lunch. Because neither will I. The afternoon brought a parade of calls from family friends and business associates, all suddenly very interested in my little company. I let them all go to voicemail. At 5:30, Isaiah knocked on my office door. The Reuters interview went well, but there's something else. He handed me a tablet. You might want to see this. It was a financial news site. The headline read, Tech Startups Breakthrough Sends Shares Soaring. CEO Linda Palmer's net worth exceeds 300 million. Below it was a comment from an anonymous source. This must be particularly satisfying for Mrs. Palmer, whose mother-in-law, Jacqueline Lynch, famously dismissed the company as a hobby project just last month. I handed the tablet back to Isaiah. Interesting. I wonder who could have leaked that quote. He grinned. I wonder indeed. He's sleeping with her, you know. Ava stirred her coffee, watching my face carefully across the breakfast table. Marley, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. I know. I buttered my toast with precise strokes. Have known for months. And you're just okay with that? The morning sun streamed through my kitchen windows, catching the diamond on my wedding ring. 10 years of marriage crystallized in a single stone that suddenly felt more like a shackle than a symbol. What I'm not okay with, I said, is how Jacqueline orchestrated it. Ava's spoon clattered against her cup. What? 3 months ago, I overheard her on the phone with HR. She specifically requested Marley be assigned to Max's team. I pulled out my phone, playing a recording. Jacqueline's voice filled the kitchen. The girl's perfect, young, ambitious, and most importantly, nothing like his wife. Jesus, Ava whispered. How did you get that? Cassandra sent it to me. Apparently, even family lawyers have limits to what they'll enable. My phone buzzed. Speaking of devils, it was Jacqueline. Linda, dear, we simply must clear the air. Join us for dinner tonight. The club at 7. I typed back. Can't. Board meeting prep. Her response was immediate. This isn't a request. Family matters take precedence over your current activities. Your son's affair or your failed property grab? Which family matter are we discussing? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally. You've changed, Linda. No, Jacqueline, you just never knew me. I showed Ava the exchange. She whistled low. You know she's going to make your life hell now. Let her try. I stood, clearing our plates. She's already played her best cards. The doorbell rang. Max stood there, looking exhausted in his rumpled suit. We need to talk. About Marley? I asked, letting him in. Or about how your mother tried to buy you a love nest with family shares she didn't have permission to sell? He froze. What are you talking about? Oh, didn't Mommy tell you? I smiled, sweet as arsenic. She liquidated restricted stock to buy that condo, stock that required board approval to sell, stock that's now effectively under my control. That's impossible, he stammered. Mother would never. Check with your family's accountant, Ava cut in. The paperwork's all there. Max sank onto my couch, head in his hands. Linda, whatever you think is happening with Marley. Stop. I held up my hand. I don't care about Marley. What I care about is 12 years of being treated like an accessory in my own marriage. Your mother orchestrated this affair the same way she's orchestrated everything else, to maintain control. That's ridiculous, he snapped. Mother only wants what's best for me. For you? I laughed. Max, She doesn't even know who you are. She built you like a doll, and you let her. My phone rang. Isaias. Linda, turn on CNBC. Now. We gathered around the TV as the financial news anchor spoke. Unprecedented breakthrough in carbon capture technology. Sources say major oil companies are already in bidding wars for licensing rights. Stock is up 180% since market open. Max stared at the screen, then at me. This is what you've been working on? All those nights you were playing entrepreneur? While you were playing house with Marley? Yes. The color drained from his face. Linda, we can fix this. Whatever Mother did. Can't be fixed, I finished. But it can be corrected. Starting with the family company shares she illegally sold. You'll destroy everything, he whispered. No, Max. I'm building something. For the first time in our marriage, I'm putting myself first. The fact that it terrifies you and your mother, that's just karma doing its job. He stood, straightening his jacket with shaking hands. Mother was right. Success has changed you. Success didn't change me, Max. It revealed me. Now get out of my house. After he left, Ava hugged me tight. You okay? My phone buzzed again. Another message from Jacqueline. You've made your point. Name your price. I showed Ava the message. She still thinks this is a negotiation. Isn't it? No. I walked to the window, watching Max's car pull away. This is a reckoning. Another text came through, this time from Cassandra. Jacqueline's asking about your company's investors. She's planning something. I smiled, thinking of the documents in my safe. Let her plan. I've got 12 years of receipts, and I'm just getting started. Linda? Ava's voice was quiet. What exactly did you mean about those family shares? I turned to face her, feeling the weight of the chess pieces finally shifting in my favor. It means, dear sister, that I now own 15% of Lynch Industries, and tomorrow the board meets to vote on new leadership. 3 million, Mr. Harrison had said, leaning back in his leather chair 2 weeks ago. That's what she offered. Lowballed me, actually. Said it was market rate for the area. 4 million, I'd countered, sliding the proof of funds across his desk. Cash, immediate close. Now, watching Jacqueline storm into my office unannounced, I remembered his satisfied smile when he'd accepted. You think you're so clever, she spat, dropping her designer bag on my desk. Using your tech money to buy into our family legacy? I didn't look up from my laptop. Security will be here in 30 seconds. Make it count. The board won't stand for this. They know you're just a vindictive... Actually, Otis interrupted, walking in with a folder. The board is quite interested in Linda's carbon capture technology, especially since their refineries are facing massive EPA fines. Jacqueline's perfectly lined lips trembled. Who are you? Otis Myers, Linda's attorney and longtime friend. Also, the person who helped structure the share purchase you accidentally facilitated. My phone buzzed. Marley. She's probably bleeding money doing this. It'll blow over soon. I showed the message to Jacqueline. Your son's girlfriend seems confused about my financial situation. Wonder where she got that idea. Security appeared at the door. Jacqueline straightened her spine, clutching her bag. This isn't over. You're right, I agreed. The board meeting's tomorrow. After she left, Otis whistled low. You enjoyed that. Not as much as I'll enjoy tomorrow. I pulled up an email. Look what Cassandra sent me. He read it, eyes widening. Jacqueline's been selling company secrets to competitors. Does Max know? Max doesn't know much of anything that doesn't come from his mother's mouth. I stood, walking to the window. But the board will know everything by noon tomorrow. My phone rang. Ava. You need to see this. Marley just posted on Instagram. I pulled up the app. There she was, posing in front of the Morrison building. Caption: New office views coming soon. Da blessed na work perks. Bold move, Otis commented, reading over my shoulder. Stupid move, I corrected, dialing a number. Hello, HR? This is Linda Palmer. I'd like to report a conflict of interest. That evening, I met Isaias at a quiet bar downtown. He slid a tablet across the table. Final numbers are in. We're not just disrupting the market, we're revolutionizing it. And the Lynch Industries connection? Their refineries are perfect test sites for our technology. He grinned. The board would be crazy not to partner with us. My phone lit up with a text from Max. Mother says you're trying to take over the company. This has to stop. I showed Isaias the message. He laughed. He still doesn't get it, does he? Neither does Jacqueline. I sipped my wine. She thinks this is about money or revenge. Isn't it? No. I pulled out a folder. It's about truth. Like these emails showing how she's been selling company information. Or these records of her manipulating board votes. Or this proof that she's been embezzling funds for years. Isaias's eyes widened. How long have you had this? Long enough. I learned from Jacqueline. Patience is everything. My phone buzzed again. Cassandra. Jacqueline's called an emergency board meeting for 8 a.m. She's trying to get ahead of you. I smiled, remembering Mr. Harrison's words when he'd chosen my offer over Jacqueline's. Sometimes, Mrs. Palmer, money isn't the most valuable currency. Sometimes it's the satisfaction of choosing the right side of history. Send it, I told Isaias. All of it. To every board member. He pulled out his laptop. The whole dossier? Everything. Let them sleep on it before tomorrow's meeting. As the files sent, my phone lit up one last time. Marley again, but this message was clearly meant for Max. Don't worry, baby. Once your mom handles her tomorrow, everything will go back to normal. I forwarded the message to HR, then turned to Isaias. Wanna watch a dynasty crumble tomorrow? Wouldn't miss it. He raised his glass. To the woman they should have never underestimated. Later that night, alone in my home office, I opened my safe and pulled out one final document. The original partnership agreement for Lynch Industries, signed 50 years ago. The one Jacqueline thought she'd destroyed. The one that proved the company's true ownership structure. The one that would change everything tomorrow. My phone buzzed one final time. Ava. You sure about this? Once you do this, there's no going back. I typed back. Some bridges aren't meant to be crossed again. They're meant to burn. The Lynch Industries boardroom fell silent as I walked in at 7:55 a.m. 12 pairs of eyes followed me to my seat, all except Jacqueline's, who was furiously whispering to Max. Mrs. Palmer, the board chairman cleared his throat. We weren't expecting. As a major shareholder, I have every right to be here. I placed the original partnership agreement on the table, especially given what you all received last night. Jacqueline's head snapped up. Whatever fabrications she sent you are extensively documented, a board member interrupted, holding up his tablet, including the proof of insider trading. Max stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. My mother has given 40 years to this company. And taken quite a bit more, I replied, sliding copies of financial records across the table. Would anyone like to discuss the offshore accounts? The room erupted in murmurs. Jacqueline's face went from red to white. Order, the chairman called, banging his gavel. Mrs. Lynch, these allegations... My phone buzzed. A message from Marley. You think you're so smart. Wait until everyone knows how you really got your tech breakthrough. I smiled, pulling up an email on my tablet. Speaking of allegations, I have something else to share. I connected to the room's display screen. This is an email chain between Jacqueline and my husband's assistant, Marley, plotting to steal my company's intellectual property. Max froze. What? Oh yes, I continued, scrolling through the messages. Your mother hired Marley specifically to access my company data through your devices. Unfortunately for them, Isaias is rather good at cybersecurity. That's absurd, Jacqueline sputtered. I would never. The timestamps match your building's security logs, I cut in. And Marley's keycard access to Max's office after hours. Would you like me to continue? The chairman adjusted his glasses. Mrs. Palmer, what exactly are you seeking here? 2 things. I stood, walking to the front of the room. First, I want Jacqueline removed from all positions of authority in this company. Second, I want to propose a partnership between my tech firm and Lynch Industries that will revolutionize your environmental compliance. You can't do this, Jacqueline hissed. This company is our legacy. Actually, I pulled out the original partnership agreement. According to this document, which you thought you'd destroyed, the company belongs to its shareholders. And as of this morning, I'm the largest individual shareholder. Max's face crumpled. How? Your mother's been secretly selling shares to fund her schemes. I've been quietly buying them through various entities. Basic math, really. The boardroom doors burst open. Marley stormed in, waving her phone. I have proof that she... Security, I called. 2 guards appeared instantly. Please escort Ms. McBride out. And do collect her keycard. HR has some questions about her after-hours activities. As Marley was led away, I turned back to the board. Shall we discuss the future of Lynch Industries? I have some thoughts on carbon capture implementation. The next hour was a blur of presentations, questions, and signatures. Jacqueline sat silent, her perfect makeup unable to hide her crumbling facade. Max kept staring at his phone, probably reading the evidence I'd sent about Marley's corporate espionage. When the votes were tallied, it was unanimous. Jacqueline was out. The partnership with my company was in. And Max would need to explain to HR why company resources were used for his affair. As the board members filed out, Jacqueline finally spoke. I raised him to aim higher than a bitter woman with something to prove. I gathered my papers calmly. You raised him to be exactly what he is, a man who couldn't tell the difference between strategy and loyalty. And now he's lost both. Linda? Max reached for my arm. We can fix this. I stepped back. No, we can't. But don't worry, you still have that condo. Oh, wait. I smiled. No, you don't have that either. My phone buzzed one last time. Otis. Stock's up 30% on partnership news. Congratulations, CEO. In the elevator down, Ava was waiting. How'd it go? Exactly as planned. I checked my watch. Ready for phase 2? The press is already gathering in the lobby, she grinned. Ready to meet the woman who just became the most powerful person in clean energy. The elevator doors opened to camera flashes and microphones. I stepped forward, Ava at my side, ready to tell the world about the future of sustainable technology. Behind me, I could hear Jacqueline's muffled sobs from the boardroom above. But I didn't look back. Some people spend their lives looking up at glass ceilings. I preferred to shatter them. Sign it. Max pushed the document across my kitchen island. Just sign the post-nup, and we can move past all this. I poured myself another cup of coffee, letting the morning silence stretch between us. 3 days had passed since the board meeting, and the business world was still buzzing about the Lynch Industries shake-up. Did your mother draft this? I picked up the papers, scanning the ridiculous terms. Or was it Marley? The grammar mistakes suggest the latter. Linda, please. He ran his hands through his dishevelled hair. Mother's not well. The doctors say the stress is exactly what she's earned. I set my mug down. How's the HR investigation going, by the way? His face darkened. You didn't have to destroy Marley's career. I didn't. She did that herself when she tried to steal corporate secrets. I slid the post-nut back to him. Speaking of which, check your email. He pulled out his phone, his face draining of color as he read. These are my private messages. To Marley, about accessing my company's servers? Yes. I walked to the window. The FBI is particularly interested in the part where you offered to help her steal our technology. That's not... I didn't... You did. And now you're trying to get me to sign away my rights with a post-nup. I turned back to him. You really are your mother's son. My phone rang. Cassandra. Linda, you need to know something. Jacqueline's been hospitalized. Convenient timing, I replied, watching Max's desperate face. No, it's serious. Her assistant found her unconscious this morning. She left you a letter. I ended the call, meeting Max's questioning look. Your mother's in the hospital. He grabbed his keys, heading for the door, then paused. This isn't who you are, Linda. This vindictive person. You never knew who I was, Max. That was the problem. After he left, Ava came over with lunch and wine. Heard about Jacqueline. Think it's real? Does it matter? I opened the wine. She's played the victim card her whole life. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Tech CEO Linda Palmer, named to Fortune's 40 under 40 list. Remember when she called your company a cute hobby? Ava scrolled through the article. Now look who's making headlines. Another call. Otis this time. The FBI wants to move forward with charges against Marley. They found evidence of corporate espionage dating back months. Good. I took a long sip of wine. What about Max's involvement? Enough to end his career, if you want to pursue it. I thought about the past 12 years, about all the dinner parties where I'd smiled and nodded while Jacqueline belittled my dreams, about Max's constant dismissal of my work, about Marley's smug face at company events. Do it, I said. All of it. Later that evening, a courier delivered Jacqueline's letter. Her usually perfect handwriting was shaky. Linda, you've won. Completely. The company, my son's respect, everything I spent my life building. I hope it brings you peace. My doctors say the stress has accelerated my condition. I don't expect sympathy, but I want you to know, I understand now, what it feels like to be powerless. Jacqueline. Ava read it over my shoulder. Wow, an actual admission of defeat. And manipulation till the end, I added, but something in my chest tightened. My phone lit up with a text from Max. Mother's asking for you. Please come. Don't go, Ava warned. It's another trap. But I was already grabbing my keys. Not out of guilt or obligation, but because some things needed to be said face to face. The hospital corridor was quiet when I arrived. Max sat outside Jacqueline's room, head in his hands. She's awake, he said without looking up. And yes, it's real. Stage 4. She's known for months. I walked into the room. Jacqueline lay there, stripped of her designer clothes and perfect makeup, looking suddenly old and very small. Come to verify your victory? Her voice was weak, but still carried that familiar edge. No. I sat beside her bed. I came to tell you that you were right about one thing. I did change, but not because of success or money. Oh? She turned her head slightly. I changed because you showed me exactly what kind of person I didn't want to become. Someone who measures love in control. Someone who destroys others to feel powerful. She closed her eyes. And yet here we are. You've destroyed me quite thoroughly. No, Jacqueline, you destroyed yourself. I just refused to be collateral damage. I stood to leave, but her voice stopped me. The company, will you protect it? Better than you did, I promised, and walked out, leaving both mother and son to face the consequences of their choices. Some victories, I realized, taste more like ashes than champagne. I want a divorce. The words hung in Max's corner office, where floor-to-ceiling windows offered a perfect view of the city we'd both fought so hard to conquer. He didn't look surprised. 2 weeks had passed since Jacqueline's hospitalization, and the empire she'd built was crumbling faster than her health. The FBI interviewed Marley this morning, I continued, placing a manila envelope on his desk. She told them everything. Linda, don't, I held up my hand. Just sign the papers. He opened the envelope, scanning the divorce agreement. You're not asking for alimony. I make more than you now, remember? His jaw tightened. And the house? Keep it. I bought something else. I pulled out my phone, showing him the listing for a modern cottage outside the city. Away from all of this. Running away? A hint of his mother's sneer crossed his face. That's not like you. No, Max. I'm choosing peace. Something your mother never understood. My phone buzzed. Isaias. Reuters wants an exclusive on the new carbon capture rollout. Also, FBI's here again. You know, Max said, watching me text back. I did love you. In my way. Your way was the problem. I met his eyes. Your way meant I had to be smaller so you could feel bigger. He started signing the papers, his Mont Blanc pen scratching against each page. And Mother? Will you keep destroying her while she's dying? She's being investigated for corporate fraud, Max. That's not destruction. That's consequence. A knock at the door interrupted us. Marley stood there, mascara streaked down her face. They're arresting me tomorrow. I told you to stay away, Max hissed. Why should I? She stormed in. Your wife already ruined everything. Did you know they're freezing my accounts? All because you promised we could... That's enough. I stood. The FBI has your emails, Marley. The ones where you detailed how you'd steal my company's technology, how you and Jacqueline planned to sell it to competitors. We were going to share the profits, she spat at Max. Tell her. But Max just kept signing papers, his hands shaking slightly. You know what's interesting? I walked to the window. Everyone thought I was getting revenge, but all I did was stop hiding the truth. You all did the rest yourselves. My phone buzzed again. Ava. Jacqueline's asking for you. Says it's important. Keep the house, Max. I gathered the signed papers. Keep the memories of who you pretended to be. I'm keeping my freedom. Linda, he called as I reached the door. Was any of it real? Yes, I said softly. Until your mother taught you to see me as competition instead of partner. The hospital was quiet when I arrived. Jacqueline looked worse, her designer pajamas hanging loose on her shrinking frame. The board voted, she said without preamble. They're removing Max as partner. I know. Because of the FBI investigation. Yes, she closed her eyes. All those years, I thought I was protecting him, making him stronger. You were making him dependent, I corrected. There's a difference. And you? Her eyes opened, surprisingly clear. What were you doing all those years, playing the quiet wife while building your empire? Surviving. Until I could thrive. She nodded slowly. I underestimated you. We all did. That was your choice. And now, what will you do with all this power? I stood, straightening my jacket. Something you never did, Jacqueline. I'll use it to build, not break. My phone lit up. Otis. FBI's closing in. They'll arrest Marley tonight. Max is named as co-conspirator. They're arresting your son tomorrow, I told her. Corporate espionage, conspiracy, fraud. The evidence is overwhelming. She didn't look surprised. Will you help him? No. A single tear rolled down her cheek. I taught him everything he knows. Except integrity, I added quietly. That's why he's falling now. I left her there, surrounded by beeping machines and wilting flowers. Outside, reporters were gathering, hungry for more details about the Lynch Industries scandal. But I didn't stop. I walked straight to my car, where Ava waited. "Ready?" she asked. I looked back at the hospital one last time. "You know what the biggest revenge is, Ava?" "What's that?" "Living well." I started the engine. "Let's go home." As we drove away, my phone buzzed with news alerts about Marley's arrest, about Max's impending charges, about Lynch Industries restructuring. I turned it off. Some victories don't need to be watched. They just need to be lived. The autumn wind whipped around me as I stood in front of the Morrison building one last time. The luxury condo that had started it all, Jacqueline's attempted power play, turned catalyst for her downfall. "The women's shelter is thrilled," Ava said, handling the paperwork. "A downtown property like this will help so many families rebuild their lives." "Fitting," I smiled, thinking of all the times I'd felt trapped in my own life. From power play to empowerment. My phone buzzed. "Isaias, turn on the news, now." We huddled over my phone to watch the breaking story. Former executive Max arrested on corporate espionage charges. Sources say his assistant, Marley, has agreed to testify against both him and his mother Jacqueline in exchange for a reduced sentence. "Karma really is a closing statement," Ava mused. The building's lobby was quiet as we took the elevator up. I'd never actually lived in the condo. That wasn't the point. It had served its purpose as the first domino in a chain reaction that exposed decades of manipulation and lies. "Ms. Palmer?" The shelter's director met us at the penthouse door. "We can't thank you enough. This location will help us protect so many women starting over." "Starting over," I repeated, running my hand along the marble countertop. "That's what it's all about, isn't it?" My phone rang. Cassandra. "Linda, Jacqueline passed away this morning." I sat down on the window seat, watching the city below. "How?" "Peacefully, they say. She left you a letter and a confession. Full admission of everything. The corporate fraud, the manipulation, even Max's involvement in the technology theft attempt. She chose truth in the end," I said quietly. "Her last act of control," Cassandra corrected, "making sure the story was told her way." After hanging up, I handed the condo keys to the shelter director. "Make it count," I said. "Make it matter." Outside, reporters were gathering. News of Jacqueline's death had broken. My phone exploded with messages. Board members, investors, journalists. I ignored them all. "Linda Palmer!" A reporter spotted me leaving the building. "Any comment on Jacqueline's death? On Max's arrest?" I stopped, facing the growing crowd. "Yes, I have one comment. Success isn't about destroying others. It's about refusing to let others destroy you." Back at my cottage outside the city, Otis waited with a familiar envelope. "Jacqueline's last letter. Want me to stay while you read it?" "No." I took it to my garden, where autumn flowers still bloomed despite the chill. "Dear Linda, by now you've received my confession. Not for your forgiveness, we're both beyond that, but for the record. You were right. I measured love in control, success in dominance. I created my son in my image, and in doing so, destroyed him. You did what I never could. Built something real, something that helps others. The company is yours now, along with my shares. My final request, don't let my mistakes poison its future. You won by choosing integrity over power. I never understood that strength until it defeated me. Jacqueline." Ava found me still sitting in the garden. "You okay?" "Better than okay." I stood, brushing off my slacks. "I'm free." My phone lit up. Isaias again. "EPA approved our technology. We're going global." "What now?" Ava asked, reading over my shoulder. I smiled, thinking of the women who would find sanctuary in that downtown condo, of the clean energy technology that would help heal the planet, of the truth that had finally set everyone free, even if some had to be dragged to it. Now, I walked inside to where my laptop showed the latest headlines about Lynch Industries' transformation under my leadership, about Max's downfall and Marley's plea deal, about Jacqueline's death and confession. Now we build something better. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Max's prison email. I understand now what Mother and I did to you, what we did to ourselves. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. Some chapters don't need a reply to be finished. Instead, I opened my company's latest project files, plans for sustainable housing, renewable energy initiatives, and corporate reform programs. Real change, built on integrity instead of power plays. They all thought they were playing chess, but I wasn't a piece on their board. I was the hand that flipped it, not for revenge, but for reconstruction. And now, in the quiet of my garden, surrounded by the empire I'd built on truth instead of manipulation, I finally felt complete. Not because I'd won, but because I'd won without becoming what they were. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's revival.
The worst part about family dinners isn't the endless questions about when I'll have a baby. It's the way they all pretend to care while watching me squirm. I'm Kinley, and for the past 6 years, I've been married into the Wolf family, a clan that measures a woman's worth by the contents of her uterus. Tonight's dinner is no different. Blair, my mother-in-law, sits at the head of the table like a queen on her throne, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "Pass the potatoes, dear," she says to Stephanie, my pregnant sister-in-law, her voice dripping with honey. "You're eating for 2 now, after all." I stab my fork into my chicken, avoiding eye contact. My husband Micah squeezes my knee under the table, but doesn't say a word. He never does. "So, Kinley," Blair's voice cuts through the dinner chatter. "Still no good news to share?" The table falls silent. 8 pairs of eyes turn to me, some curious, others pitying. I feel my cheeks burn. "Not yet, Blair," I manage to say, forcing a smile. "Well," she sighs dramatically, "I suppose some women just aren't meant for motherhood. Stephanie got pregnant right away, didn't you, darling?" Stephanie shifts uncomfortably in her seat. "Mom, maybe we shouldn't—" "Oh, I'm just concerned," Blair interrupts. 6 years is such a long time. Have you considered seeing a specialist, Kinley? Though I suppose at your age—" My fork clatters against the plate. Micah's hand tightens on my knee. A silent plea to keep quiet, to protect his secret, our secret. "I hear acupuncture can help," Fiona, my younger sister-in-law, offers kindly. "My friend tried it." "What Kinley needs is to relax," Blair announces. "Stop focusing so much on your career, dear. Children need a present mother." A few awkward chuckles ripple around the table. Daniel, Stephanie's husband, clears his throat. "How about that game last night?" But Blair isn't finished. "You know, Martin and I had 3 children by the time we were your age. Didn't we, Martin?" Her husband grunts non-committally from behind his wineglass. I push my chair back suddenly, the legs scraping against hardwood. "Excuse me," I mutter. "Bathroom?" In the hallway bathroom, I grip the edges of the sink, staring at my reflection. Behind me, the door opens, and Marley, my best friend who was invited for moral support, slips in. "You okay?" she asks, locking the door. "I have a secret that would shut them all up," I whisper, my knuckles white against the porcelain. 1 sentence is all it would take to wipe that smug look off Blair's face. "Then say it," Marley urges. "You don't deserve this treatment." I shake my head. "I promised Micah. It would destroy him." "And what about you? How much more destroying can you take?" Before I can answer, there's a knock. "Kinley?" It's Micah. "Mum's serving dessert." I splash water on my face and open the door. Micah looks worried, his brown eyes searching mine. "I'm sorry," he whispers. "You know how she gets." "Do I ever?" I reply, my voice harder than intended. Your mother's quite the expert on fertility for someone who doesn't know her own son is the reason we can't have children. He flinches. Please, keep your voice down. Don't worry, I say, straightening my shoulders. Your secret's safe. But I swear, Micah, the next time she shames me in front of everyone, I won't stay quiet. There's only so much humiliation one person can take. We return to the dining room where Blair is serving her famous apple pie. She beams at Stephanie. I'll have to teach you this recipe, dear. It's a family tradition passed down through generations of wolf mothers. She doesn't offer me a slice. I sit there watching them all eat, laugh, and share knowing looks. They think they know everything about me, the barren wife, the career woman who can't fulfill her primary duty. If they only knew the truth, one day they will. Because I've made a decision. I won't endure another year of this. The next time Blair decides to put me in my place, I'll put her in hers. And God help them all when I do. For now, though, I smile and nod, playing my part in this charade. But inside, something has shifted. The fear and shame are giving way to something else, something harder, colder, and much more dangerous. Let them laugh. Let them whisper. Let Blair have her moment. My time will come. I can't take it any more, Micah says, pacing our bedroom after the dinner. The way she looks at you, treats you. It's killing me. I sit on our bed, watching him unravel. 6 years of secrets and lies weighing heavily on both our shoulders. Then tell her the truth. He stops pacing, his face pale. I can't. You know I can't. The memory of that day at the fertility clinic floods back. The doctor's sympathetic face as she delivered the news. 0 sperm count. No chance of natural conception. Micah's world crumbling around him while I held his hand. We could try donor sperm, the doctor had suggested, but Micah couldn't bear the thought. My mother would never accept it, he'd said. She's obsessed with the wolf bloodline. Now, looking at my husband's tortured expression, I feel that familiar mix of love and frustration. So instead, you let her torture me? She's my mother, Kinley. And I'm your wife. The words burst out louder than intended. Do you know what it's like, sitting there while she picks me apart, knowing the whole time that you could stop it with just one word? The doorbell rings, saving him from responding. It's Marley, right on time with wine and sympathy. You look like hell, she says, pushing past me into the house. Both of you. We settle in the living room, Marley pouring generous glasses of red. So, what's the latest drama with the mother-in-law from hell? She's hosting a lunch tomorrow, I say, taking a long sip, to plan Stephanie's baby shower. Let me guess, you're invited, but not really welcome. Oh, I'm welcome, I laugh bitterly. Blair needs an audience for her performance. Micah stands abruptly. I need some air. He heads to the backyard, leaving Marley and me alone. You need to stand up to her, Marley says once he's gone. This isn't healthy for either of you. What am I supposed to do? Break my promise to Micah? If he won't protect you, you need to protect yourself. The next day, I arrive at Blair's house for lunch. Stephanie's already there, surrounded by paint swatches and Pinterest printouts. Oh, good, you came, Blair says, as if surprised. We're choosing colours for the nursery. Stephanie has such wonderful taste. Must run in the family. I bite my tongue and sit down. We're thinking sage green, Stephanie says quickly. Gender neutral, you know. Perfect for the next generation of wolves, Blair beams. Speaking of which, Kinley, have you considered adoption, since natural methods aren't working out? My hands clench under the table. We're exploring our options. Blair purses her lips. Well, adoption can be nice, though nothing compares to carrying your own child. Right, Stephanie? Stephanie looks uncomfortable. Mum, maybe we should focus on the shower plans. Of course, darling. Now, for the guest list. My phone buzzes. A text from Micah. How's it going? Before I can respond, Blair clears her throat. No phones during family time, dear. We're planning something important. I slip the phone back into my pocket, catching Stephanie's apologetic glance. As I was saying, Blair continues, the shower will be here next Saturday. Everyone who matters will be there. The emphasis on matters isn't subtle. I've ordered special champagne, she adds, for toasting the first grandchild. First grandchild. The words hit like a physical blow. Under the table, my nails dig into my palms until I feel skin break. Actually, Stephanie speaks up, Daniel and I were thinking something more casual. Nonsense. This is a celebration of family legacy. Speaking of which, Kinley, would you mind helping with the clean-up, since you won't be involved in the more maternal aspects of the planning? I stand up so quickly my chair nearly tips over. Excuse me. In the kitchen, I grip the counter, trying to steady my breathing. My phone buzzes again, Marley this time. Remember, you have the power to end this whenever you want. I stare at the message for a long moment. Through the kitchen door, I hear Blair's voice. Poor thing, she just doesn't understand what real family means. That's when I notice the invitation sample on the counter. In elegant script, it announces, celebrating the arrival of the newest wolf. Something inside me shifts. The same hardening I felt at dinner, but stronger now, crystallizing into determination. My phone buzzes one more time. It's Micah. I'm sorry, I know it's hard. Sorry isn't enough anymore. Not when I can see the future stretching out before me, years of this treatment, this shame, this lie. I walk back into the dining room, my head high. Blair looks up, triumphant smile in place. Everything all right, dear? You look a bit peaked. I'm fine, I say, smiling back. Just thinking about the shower. It's going to be quite the revelation. Sunday morning at church becomes another battlefield. I spot Blair holding court with her friends, their heads bent together like conspirators. As I walk past, their whispers grow louder. Such a shame, one says, and she seemed so promising when Micah first brought her home. I slide into a pew beside Fiona, who gives me a sympathetic smile. Ignore them, she whispers. Mum's friends are worse gossips than she is. Kinley, Blair's voice rings out across the chapel. Come here, dear. Mrs. Peterson was just asking about you. I consider pretending I didn't hear, but that would only make things worse. I approach their circle, plastering on my best fake smile. We were just discussing children, Mrs. Peterson says, patting my arm. Blair tells me you're having difficulties. Did she? I keep my voice steady. How thoughtful of her to share my personal medical information. Blair laughs high and false. Oh, Kinley, don't be sensitive. We're all family here. Mrs. Peterson's daughter knows an excellent fertility specialist. I already have a doctor, thank you. Clearly not a very good one, Blair stage whispers to her friends. They titter in response. Later that afternoon, I'm stress cleaning our kitchen when Micah comes home. He takes one look at my face and sighs. Mum called, said you were rude at church. The plate I'm washing slips from my hands, clattering in the sink. Of course she did. She's just trying to help. Help? I spin around, soap suds flying. She's trying to humiliate me, and you're letting her. I can't. His voice cracks. I can't keep doing this either, Kinley. Maybe we should tell them. My phone rings before I can respond. It's Marley. You'll never believe what I just heard, she says when I answer. Blair's at the country club, telling everyone how you're destroying the family legacy by not providing an heir. I put the phone on speaker so Micah can hear. She's planning something big for the baby shower, Marley continues. Some sort of family tribute. You need to beat her to the punch, Kinley. End this on your terms. Micah's face goes pale. No, please. After I hang up, there's a knock at our door. It's Fiona, looking nervous. I thought you should know, she says, stepping inside. Mum's excluded you from the shower planning committee. She says it would be too painful for you. How considerate, I say dryly. I'm sorry. Fiona touches my arm. What she's doing, it's not right. Some of us can see that. That evening I sit in our home office staring at the fertility clinic paperwork we've accumulated over the years. The diagnosis is right there in black and white: male factor infertility, complete azoospermia. My phone lights up with a text from Blair to the family group chat. Shower meeting tomorrow at 2. Kinley, don't worry about coming. I know these events can be triggering for those struggling with fertility. Several dots appear as family members read the message. No one responds. Another text follows. Stephanie, bring those beautiful ultrasound photos. I want to start the Wolf family album properly. I throw my phone across the room. It hits the wall with a satisfying crack. Micah finds me there an hour later, still staring at the paperwork. I saw Mum's texts, he says quietly. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough anymore. What do you want me to do? Stand up to her, I shout, jumping to my feet. Tell her to stop treating me like I'm defective when you know it's not my fault. I can't, he shouts back. Do you know what it would do to her, to Dad, to everyone? What about what she's doing to me, to us? He slumps against the wall. I don't know how much longer I can take this. That makes 2 of us. My phone buzzes from where it landed. Another group text from Blair. Looking through old baby photos of my children. Such a blessing to pass on our precious genes. Can't wait to do the same with Stephanie's little one. Micah reads it over my shoulder and makes a sound like he's been punched. She's not going to stop, I say quietly. Ever, unless someone makes her. Kinley? No, listen to me. Your mother is destroying our marriage. Every day she chips away at us with her lies and manipulation. And for what? To protect her precious family image. He doesn't respond, but I see the truth in his eyes. He's breaking too. I pick up my cracked phone and text Marley. You're right, it's time to end this. Help me plan something for the shower. Her response is immediate. Finally, don't worry, we'll make it spectacular. I look at Micah, still leaning against the wall. Last chance, either you tell her or I will. He closes his eyes, tears sliding down his cheeks. I can't. Then I'm sorry, I say, and I mean it. But I can't keep quiet anymore. The die is cast. In less than a week, Blair's perfect world will shatter and I'll be the one holding the hammer. The day before the shower, Blair insists on a family crafting session to make decorations. I'm only invited because Stephanie felt guilty and intervened. Now I sit at Blair's dining table, watching everyone make paper flowers and paint signs celebrating motherhood. Careful with the glitter, Kinley, Blair says, eyeing my work. We want these to look professional. They're paper flowers, Blair, for a one-day event. Every detail matters when celebrating new life, she says pointedly, though I suppose you wouldn't understand that. Stephanie drops her scissors with a clatter. Mom, please. What? I'm simply stating facts. Some women are natural mothers and some... Blair gestures vaguely in my direction. Well, Daniel, who's been quiet until now, speaks up. Maybe we should take a break, get some fresh air. Excellent idea, Blair beams. Kinley, why don't you clean up while we step outside, since you're not really contributing anyway? I stand up so quickly my chair tips over. Daniel catches my eye and jerks his head toward the kitchen. I follow him, grateful for the escape. Here, he hands me a glass of water once we're alone. You look like you need something stronger, but this will have to do. Thanks, I mutter. You know, he says carefully, I've been doing some research about fertility issues. My hand freezes halfway to my mouth. Oh, interesting stuff. Did you know that in about half of cases it's actually the man who... Daniel, I cut him off, please don't. He holds up his hands. Just saying, sometimes things aren't as simple as certain people make them seem. Before I can respond, Marley arrives. She's supposed to help with decorations, though we both know she's really here for moral support. What did I miss? She asks, taking in my expression. Just Blair being Blair, I say. We return to the dining room where Blair is showing Stephanie old baby photos. "Look at Micah," she coos. "Such a perfect baby. Strong genes in our family." Marley squeezes my hand under the table. "And here's Stephanie's first ultrasound," Blair continues. "Already looks like a true wolf. Such a blessing to carry on the family line." "Mother," Fiona warns, but Blair's on a roll. "You know, I was talking to my friend Helen yesterday. Her daughter-in-law had fertility problems too, but at least she had the decency to step aside so her husband could find someone more suitable." "That's enough!" Stephanie stands up, face flushed. "This has to stop." Blair looks shocked. "Darling, I'm only thinking of the family's best interests." "By destroying Micah's marriage?" "Oh, please," Blair waves her hand. "If their marriage is fragile, that's hardly my fault. Some people simply aren't meant to be part of this family." I walk out of the room before anyone can stop me. Marley follows me to the bathroom. "Tomorrow," she says firmly, "tomorrow we end this." Back in the dining room I hear Blair on the phone, her voice carrying deliberately. "Yes, Helen, everything's ready for tomorrow. Finally a real celebration of motherhood. Not like that sad excuse for a daughter-in-law I got stuck with. There's only one real mother in this family, and it certainly isn't Kinley." Something inside me snaps. I pull out my phone and text Micah. "I'm done protecting you. Tomorrow everyone learns the truth." His response comes quickly. "Please don't do this." "Too late," I type back. "You had your chance." Marley reads the exchange over my shoulder. "What's the plan?" "Wait for Blair's big speech about family legacy, then drop the bomb. I have the medical records on my phone, screenshots ready to go." "She'll never recover from this," Marley says with satisfaction. "That's the point." We return to find Blair arranging tomorrow's seating chart. "Oh, Kinley, I'm putting you in the back. Wouldn't want to upset you with all the baby talk." "Don't worry about me, Blair," I say sweetly. "I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I have a feeling it's going to be unforgettable." She narrows her eyes, but before she can respond, Stephanie calls her over to look at more decorations. Daniel appears at my elbow. "Whatever you're planning," he whispers, "make it count." I look at him sharply, but he just winks and walks away. As I gather my things to leave, I spot a folder on Blair's desk, labelled Family Legacy Photos. Inside, there's a gap in the family tree, a space where my and Micah's children should be. Next to it, Blair has written, "Failure to continue bloodline, possible solutions." I take a photo of the page with trembling hands, add it to my evidence folder, and close the door on my way out. Tomorrow, Blair learns what real failure feels like. The night before the shower, Micah paces our bedroom like a caged animal. "Please," he begs, "don't do this. We can find another way." What other way? I'm sitting at my vanity, rehearsing my speech in my head. We've tried everything else. We could move away, start fresh somewhere. "Running won't fix this," I turn to face him. "Your mother will still be who she is. The truth will still be what it is." He drops to his knees beside me, grabs my hands. "I'll tell her to stop. I'll make her understand. Like you've done for the past 6 years. I pull my hands away. "Face it, Micah. You're terrified of her." The doorbell rings. It's Stephanie, looking nervous on our doorstep. "Can we talk?" she asks. I let her in, noting her red eyes and fidgeting hands. Micah excuses himself to the garage, unable to face either of us. "I know what Mom's been doing is wrong," Stephanie blurts out. "I should have said something sooner." "But you didn't," she winces. "No, I didn't." She places a hand on her swollen belly. "I was scared. Mom has this way of, when she turns on you—" "I know exactly how she turns on people," I say coldly. "I've been her target for 6 years. That's why I'm here." Stephanie takes a deep breath. "Whatever you're planning tomorrow, and I know you're planning something, just be careful. Mum won't take public humiliation well." I laugh, harsh and bitter. And how do you think I've taken public humiliation? All those digs about my fertility, my worth as a woman, my place in the family. I know, she wipes at fresh tears. I'm not defending her. I don't want the family to fall apart. The family's already broken, Stephanie. Your mother broke it. I'm just going to make everyone admit it. After she leaves, Marley calls. Everything's set for tomorrow. You ready? Ready as I'll ever be. Remember, wait for her big toast. That's when she'll be most vulnerable. I hang up and find Micah in our home office staring at old photos. Remember when we first got married? He asks softly. Before all the pressure about babies. You mean before your mother turned me into the family scapegoat? I should have protected you, he whispers. I was just ashamed. Of being infertile or of being too weak to stand up to your mother. He flinches. Both, I guess. I sit beside him, suddenly exhausted. You know, what's funny? I never cared that we couldn't have biological children. I would have been happy adopting, using a donor, whatever. But your mother made it about bloodlines and family legacy until it became this monster. We could still do those things, he says hopefully. Not until the truth comes out. Not until she faces what she's done. My phone buzzes. Another family group text from Blair. Can't wait for tomorrow. Finally, a proper celebration of our family's future. Some people may find it difficult, but real wolves understand the importance of legacy. Micah reads it and puts his head in his hands. She's never going to stop, is she? No, I say quietly. She's not. I go to bed early, but sleep doesn't come. Around midnight, I hear Micah crying in the bathroom, trying to muffle the sound. I don't go to him. I can't be his comfort anymore, not when I need all my strength for tomorrow. Dawn breaks, and I start getting ready. I choose my outfit carefully, an elegant blue dress that makes me look confident, untouchable. I download the medical records to my phone one more time, just to be sure. Micah watches me from the bed. Once you do this, he says, there's no going back. I know. Mum will never forgive you. Good. I apply my lipstick with steady hands, because I'll never forgive her either. The morning sun streams through our windows as I finish getting ready. In a few hours, Blair will stand up to give her toast, probably something about true motherhood and family values. She'll be at her most triumphant, her most self-righteous, and then I'll destroy everything she holds dear. My phone buzzes one last time. Marley. Remember, you're not the villain here. You're just telling the truth. I look at myself in the mirror. The woman staring back isn't the same one who used to cry after family dinners. She's stronger now. Harder. Ready? Micah asks from the doorway, his voice hollow. Almost, I say, and open my phone's gallery. There it is, the photo of Blair's family legacy folder with its cruel notes about my failure. The final piece of evidence. I take a deep breath and grab my purse. Time to go shatter some illusions. Blair's house is decorated like a magazine spread. Pale pink and gold everywhere. Fresh flowers on every surface, and a professional photographer capturing it all. She's really outdone herself this time. Kinley, Blair calls out as I enter. Oh, good, you found the seat I assigned you, in the back by the kitchen door. I ignore the designated place card and sit next to Marley at the main table. Blair's eye twitches, but she's too busy directing the catering staff to make a scene. You look amazing, Marley whispers, like a warrior going into battle. Guests start arriving, family friends, church members, all of Blair's social circle. They fill the room with chatter and expensive perfume, carefully avoiding eye contact with me. Stephanie arrives in a flowing maternity dress, looking nervous. Daniel squeezes my shoulder as he passes, a silent show of support. Everyone, Blair claps her hands, please take your seats. We're about to begin the celebration. I feel Micah tense beside me as his mother takes centre stage, champagne flute in hand. Today, we celebrate not just a baby, Blair begins, but the continuation of a proud family legacy. The Wolf bloodline has always been distinguished by strength, excellence, and, most importantly, fertility. A few awkward chuckles from the crowd. Blair's smile grows sharper. When I had my 3 beautiful children, I knew they would carry on our family traditions. And now my darling Stephanie is proving herself a true wolf woman. Stephanie shifts uncomfortably in her seat. Of course, Blair continues, her eyes finding me, some people struggle with the responsibilities of carrying on a family name. It's not their fault, really. Not everyone is blessed with proper capabilities. Marley's hand finds mine under the table as Blair raises her glass higher. But today isn't about disappointments. Today is about success. About my first grandchild who will carry our pure bloodline into the next generation. The room fills with polite applause. Blair basks in it, adding, and who knows, maybe seeing a real mother in the family will inspire others to try harder. That's it. That's my cue. I stand up, my own champagne glass in hand. The room falls silent. You're right, Blair, I say, my voice carrying clearly across the stunned room. Today is about truth and family legacy. Blair's smile freezes. Kinley, dear, I don't think... In fact, I continue, I have an announcement of my own to make. Sit down, Blair hisses. This is Stephanie's day. Oh, but this concerns Stephanie too. It concerns everyone who's ever wondered why Micah and I don't have children. Micah grabs my wrist. Please, he whispers. I gently pull away. I've kept quiet for 6 years. Endured your cruelty, your public humiliation, your constant implications that I'm somehow defective. The room is dead silent now. Even the photographer has stopped clicking. But you see, Blair, I've been protecting a secret, one that would shatter your precious illusions about bloodlines and legacy. That's enough! Blair slams her glass down. No, it's not nearly enough. I pull out my phone. Would you like to see Micah's medical records? The ones that prove he's completely infertile, that your precious wolf bloodline stops with him? The glass slips from Blair's hand, shattering on the hardwood floor. Several guests gasp. You're lying, Blair whispers. Am I? Shall I pass around the doctor's report, the one that says your son has 0 sperm count, that there's no chance, 0% of him ever fathering a child? Stephanie's hands fly to her mouth. Daniel wraps an arm around her shoulders. Or maybe, I continue, my voice growing stronger, you'd like to see the folder I found yesterday? The one where you wrote about my failure to continue the bloodline? Blair's face has gone ghost white. She turns to Micah. Tell them she's lying. Tell them. But Micah just sits there, head bowed, tears rolling down his cheeks. 6 years, I say into the silence. 6 years of watching you torture me while knowing the truth. 6 years of protecting your precious son while you destroyed me piece by piece. Get out, Blair whispers. Get out of my house. Gladly. But first, I raise my glass. A toast to family legacy, to bloodlines, to the truth you tried so hard to hide. I down my champagne in one gulp and set the glass down with a decisive clink. The room erupts in whispers. Some guests are already gathering their things, eager to escape. Others are openly staring at Blair, then at Micah, then at me. You've ruined everything, Blair says, her voice breaking. No, Blair, you did that all on your own. I turn to leave, but pause at the door. Oh, and one more thing. I quit. Find someone else to be your scapegoat. The last thing I see as I walk out is Fiona starting to slow clap, a satisfied smile on her face. I make it halfway down Blair's driveway before the screaming starts. How dare you? Blair's voice rings out behind me. How dare you humiliate my son like this? I turn to face her, aware of party guests crowding the windows to watch. Your son! What about what you did to me? I was protecting our family name. By destroying mine. Marley appears at my side, car keys in hand. Let's go. No. Blair steps closer, mascara running down her cheeks. You don't get to walk away from this. You promised Micah you'd keep his secret. And you promised to love me like a daughter, I shoot back. Funny how promises work. The front door opens again. Micah stumbles out, looking shell-shocked. Behind him I see Stephanie crying in Daniel's arms while Fiona tries to usher remaining guests toward their cars. You've torn this family apart, Blair sobs, but there's rage beneath the tears. Everything I built, everything I protected, was based on lies, I finish for her, and cruelty. Mom! Micah's voice is barely audible. Stop! 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 Blair whirls on him. You let this happen. You let her destroy us. No, Mother. His voice grows stronger. You destroyed us. Every time you attacked my wife, every time you blamed her for something that was my fault. It's not your fault, Blair insists. We can fix this. There must be treatments, specialists. There aren't, he says. I've known for years. We both have. Then we'll find you someone else. Blair reaches for him. Someone who can give you children. Enough! Micah jerks away from her. I love Kinley. If you can't accept that, if you can't accept us as we are, then maybe we shouldn't be part of this family anymore. Blair staggers back like she's been slapped. You don't mean that. He does, I say quietly. And so do I. Daniel steps forward, still holding Stephanie. Blair, this has to stop. Look what you've done to all of us. What I've done? Blair's voice rises hysterically. I built this family. I protected our legacy. By destroying your son's marriage, Stephanie breaks free from Daniel. By humiliating Kinley at every opportunity. That's not protection, Mum. That's abuse. You too. Blair's eyes narrow. After everything I've done for you, the perfect shower I planned. I never wanted this. Stephanie gestures at the elaborate decorations. Any of it. I just wanted my family to be happy. More guests are leaving now, whispering among themselves. I can already imagine the gossip spreading through their social circle. Well, Blair straightens her spine, trying to salvage her dignity. I suppose now we all know who our real family is, and who isn't. Yes, I say clearly. We do. Micah walks down the driveway to stand beside me. After a moment's hesitation, Fiona joins us. Then Daniel and Stephanie. Blair stands alone on her perfect porch, surrounded by her perfect decorations, watching her perfect family choose sides. Martin, she calls out desperately. Martin, come out here and talk sense into your children. But Martin appears in the doorway only to shake his head sadly. No, Blair, I think you've done enough talking for all of us. She crumples then, all her carefully maintained control shattering like her champagne glass. Kinley, Micah touches my arm. Let's go home. Home sounds good, I say, but turn back one last time. Blair. She looks up, mascara-stained face full of hatred. I kept your secret for 6 years because I loved your son more than I loved myself. But I don't love you anymore. I'm not afraid of you anymore. And I will never, ever let you hurt me again. You'll regret this, she hisses. All of you will regret this. But her words have lost their power. I can see it in the way Stephanie straightens her shoulders, in how Fiona rolls her eyes, in Micah's steady grip on my hand. No, I say simply, we won't. We leave Blair standing there, her perfect world in pieces around her feet. Marley drives us home in silence, but as we pull into our driveway, Micah starts to laugh. What's funny? I ask. I just realised she'll have to explain this to everyone at church tomorrow. Good, Marley says fiercely. Let her try to spin this one. Inside our house, Micah pulls me close. I'm sorry, he whispers, for everything, for not being strong enough sooner. You're strong enough now, I tell him. That's what matters. My phone buzzes, messages flooding in from family members. Stephanie, I'm so sorry. I should have stood up to her years ago. Fiona, that was amazing. Daniel, about damn time someone said it. and one from Martin that makes me catch my breath. Thank you for loving my son enough to tell the truth. Maybe now we can all start healing. Blair's perfect world is gone, but maybe, just maybe, we can build something better from the ruins. Something real. The doorbell rings during breakfast. Micah and I exchange glances. We haven't had many visitors since the shower incident. It's just me, Fiona calls through the door, and Stephanie and Daniel. I open the door to find them holding casserole dishes and wine bottles. Family dinner, Stephanie explains. The new kind, without the drama. We gather around our dining table, the one that's been empty since the shower. Fiona pours wine while Daniel serves the food. Have you heard from Mom? Stephanie asks carefully. She's been busy, Fiona snorts, writing lengthy Facebook posts about the importance of family loyalty, while simultaneously disowning half the family, Daniel adds. Micah stares at his plate. Dad called yesterday, said she's redecorating the house, taking down all the photos of me. Us too, Stephanie sighs. Apparently we're all traitors now. Worth it, I say, raising my glass, to freedom from perfect family facades. They clink glasses with me, even Micah. He's different now, lighter somehow, despite everything we've lost. The doorbell rings again. This time it's Martin, looking uncomfortable but determined. Hope I'm not interrupting, he says. I brought pie. Micah stands frozen. Dad? Your mother's at her sister's, Martin explains. I thought it was time I chose a side too. He sets the pie on the table and pulls out his phone. Look what I found in the attic yesterday. It's an old photo of Micah as a child crying because he couldn't catch a baseball. Blair isn't in the picture. She was probably too embarrassed by his failure. You know what I remember about that day? Martin asks. How you got back up and tried again. Not because you were naturally good at it, but because you were brave enough to fail in front of people. Micah's eyes fill with tears. Dad, I should have been braver too, Martin says. Should have stopped your mother years ago, but I'm here now. The doorbell rings a third time. We all tense, half expecting Blair, but it's Marley. Sorry I'm late, she says. Had to pick something up. She hands Micah and me an envelope. Inside is a brochure for an adoption agency. I know a couple who use them, she says. They're having an information session next week, if you're interested. I look at Micah. He squeezes my hand and nods. We're interested, I say. Well then, Martin raises his glass. 2 new beginnings. And real family, Fiona adds. And telling the truth, Stephanie says pointedly. My phone buzzes, a text from Blair. I hope you're happy with what you've done. You've destroyed everything. I show it to Micah. He takes the phone and types, No, Mum, we're building something better. You're welcome to join us when you're ready to accept the truth. He hits send before I can stop him. There, he says. No more hiding. The response comes quickly. You'll come crawling back. You need me. Actually, I say, deleting the message without responding, we don't. We spend the evening sharing stories, real ones this time, not the sanitized versions Blair preferred. Stories about failure and fear and imperfection. Stories about love that doesn't depend on performance or bloodlines. You know what's funny? Stephanie says, rubbing her belly. I was so scared to tell Mom I want to hyphenate the baby's last name, include Daniel's family too. The horror, Fiona gasps in mock scandal, diluting the precious bloodline. We all laugh, even Martin. I have an announcement too, Fiona says. I'm moving in with my girlfriend next month. Does Mom know? Micah asks. Nope, but I'm done hiding too. Martin clears his throat. Your mother, she means well. She never learned how to love imperfect things. Good thing we did, I say. Later, after everyone's gone home, Micah and I sit on our porch swing. The adoption brochure lies between us, full of possibilities. Are we ready for this? He asks. For building a family our way, without your mother's approval? He nods. I think we're more ready than we've ever been. My phone buzzes one last time. It's Martin. Thank you for giving me my son back, and for showing us all how to be brave. I show Micah the message. He smiles and pulls me closer. You know what? He says. Mum was right about one thing. What's that? Family legacy is important, but not the way she thinks. We get to choose what legacy we pass on. I think about the adoption brochure, about Fiona's courage, about Stephanie's quiet rebellion, about Martin choosing pie and truth over perfection and lies. So, what legacy do you want to pass on? I ask. Micah kisses my forehead. Love without conditions, truth without fear, family without facades. Now that, I say, is a legacy worth building. And for the first time in 6 years, I feel completely, perfectly free.
The crystal wine glasses clinked as my brother Bruce raised his for yet another toast. To success, he announced, his perfect white smile gleaming in our father's meticulously decorated dining room, and to those who know how to achieve it. I'm Amy, and I was about to experience the most humiliating dinner of my life. Speaking of success, my father Edward interjected, swirling his expensive Bordeaux, Bruce just closed another multi-million-dollar merger, third one this quarter. He beamed at my brother with the pride I'd never seen directed at me. I pushed my untouched salmon around the plate, already knowing where this conversation was heading. The familiar knot formed in my stomach as I felt my mother Lillian's sympathetic glance from across the table. And what about you, Amy? Bruce's wife Melina asked, genuine interest in her voice. How's your documentary coming along? Before I could answer, Bruce let out a snort. Oh, right. The one about that small-town recycling scandal? Must be riveting stuff. Actually, I straightened my spine, gripping my fork tighter. It exposed systematic corruption in local government. It's being considered for... Considered for what? My father interrupted. Another participation trophy? When are you going to grow up and get a real job, Amy? Documentary filmmaking is a real job, I said, my voice stronger than I felt. I'm working on something bigger now, something that could... Could what? Bruce laughed, looking around the table for support. Win you tens of dollars instead of just ones? Bruce, Melina whispered. But he was on a roll. Remember when she wanted to be a journalist in college? Bruce continued, addressing our father. Thank God she didn't pursue that dead-end career. Oh, wait. The laughter that followed felt like acid on my skin. Even my mother's weak attempt at changing the subject couldn't drown it out. I'm investigating corporate fraud, I blurted out, desperate to be taken seriously just once. Major companies, serious violations. People need to know the truth. The silence that followed lasted exactly 3 seconds before my father set down his wineglass with a sharp clink. Corporate fraud? He leaned forward, his amusement morphing into something darker. You mean harassing legitimate businesses with your amateur camera work and conspiracy theories? They're not theories when you have evidence, I shot back, immediately regretting my words as I saw his expression change. Evidence? Bruce's lawyer instincts kicked in. What exactly are you implying, little sister? I'm not implying anything, I said, pushing my chair back. I'm stating facts, and soon everyone else will see them too. Listen to me very carefully. My father's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet tone I remembered from childhood. You're embarrassing yourself. More importantly, you're embarrassing this family. It's time you stopped playing at being a filmmaker and found something productive to do with your life. Edward, my mother finally spoke up, perhaps we should... No, Lillian, she needs to hear this. He turned back to me. Your brother made partner at 30. He has a beautiful home, a respectable career, a family on the way. And what do you have? A camera and delusions of grandeur? I stood up so quickly, my water glass toppled, spreading across the pristine white tablecloth like a slow-motion disaster. What I have, I said, my voice shaking with rage, is integrity. And a story that's going to make you wish you'd taken me seriously. Sit down, my father commanded. You're making a scene. No, I'm making a documentary, and trust me, you'll want to watch this one. I grabbed my bag and headed for the door, ignoring my mother's calls to come back. As I reached for the handle, Bruce's voice carried from the dining room. Always so dramatic. No wonder nobody takes her seriously. The door slammed behind me with a satisfying bang. In my car, hands trembling on the steering wheel, I pulled out my phone and dialed. Rhea, it's me. Remember that footage I told you about? The stuff about Carlton Industries? I took a deep breath. I'm ready to go all in. No more playing it safe. My best friend's voice crackled through the speaker. Are you sure? This could get messy. I thought about the laughter, the dismissal, the years of being the family disappointment. Good, I said, starting the engine. Messy is exactly what I'm going for. As I pulled away from my father's mansion, I caught a glimpse of my mother watching from the window. For a moment, I almost felt guilty about what I was about to do. Almost. But they wanted me to make something of myself? Fine. I'd make something they'd never forget. You should see your face right now, Rhea said, sliding a coffee across her kitchen counter to me. You've got that look. What look? The one that says you're about to do something either brilliant or stupid. She leaned forward, elbows on the granite. Maybe both. I pulled out my laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard as I pulled up my research files. Carlton Industries has been dumping toxic waste in residential areas for years. I have proof, but that's just the surface. And your father's law firm represents them? Rhea finished, understanding dawning on her face. Amy, are you sure you want to? Look at this, I interrupted, turning the screen toward her. These are internal emails from their environmental compliance department. 3 deaths in the last year alone, all covered up, all in neighborhoods where people can't afford to fight back. Rhea's journalist instincts kicked in as she scanned the documents. How did you get these? Remember Marcus from college? He works in their IT department now. He's been helping me gather evidence for months. This is dynamite, Rhea whispered. But you'll need more than just documents. You'll need faces, stories, expert testimony. That's why I called you. I took a deep breath. I need your contacts. Anyone who might be willing to go on record. Rhea was already pulling out her phone. There's someone you need to meet, Eduardo Price. He broke the story on that pharmaceutical scandal last year. If anyone knows how to handle something this big, it's him. 2 days later, I sat across from Eduardo in a quiet corner of a downtown cafe, trying not to feel intimidated by his penetrating gaze as he reviewed my footage. Your technical skills are solid, he said finally, closing my laptop. But you're playing it too safe. Where's the anger? I'm plenty angry, I replied. Then show it. These aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These are real people being poisoned in their homes while your brother's law firm helps cover it up. I flinched at the mention of Bruce. I want to focus on Carlton Industries, not my family. Eduardo leaned back, studying me. Sometimes the personal angle is what makes a story unforgettable. Why are you really doing this, Amy? Because it's wrong, I said automatically. Try again. I thought about my father's dismissive laugh, Bruce's condescending smirk. Because nobody thinks I can. Better. Now tell me why the audience should care. Because while companies like Carlton Industries poison communities, they're protected by powerful law firms who make sure they never face consequences. Because my own brother... I stopped, emotion threatening to choke me. Go on. Because my own brother sits in board meetings knowing what they're doing, and he doesn't care. Because my father calls me a failure while he profits from their crimes. Because somebody needs to expose the truth, and nobody else will. Eduardo smiled for the first time. Now that's a story worth telling. He pulled out a business card. I have a contact at the EPA who's been building a case against Carlton for years. She's been looking for a platform. Call this number tomorrow. As I reached for the card, he held onto it. But understand something. Once you start down this road, there's no turning back. Your family will never forgive you. They'll have to get in line, I said, taking the card. That night, as I reviewed my footage, my phone buzzed with a text from Melina. "Your mother's worried about you. Call her?" I ignored it, focusing instead on the interview playing on my screen. A woman stood in her backyard, pointing to the discolored grass and dead plants. "My daughter was diagnosed with leukemia last month," she was saying. "The doctors can't explain it, but everyone on this street has someone sick. Everyone." My phone buzzed again. This time it was Bruce. "Dad's pretty pissed about your little outburst. You should apologize before this gets worse." I thought about the woman in the video, about her daughter fighting for her life while my brother helped hide the truth, about all the times I'd swallowed my pride to keep the peace. Not anymore. I picked up my phone and called Eduardo's contact. A woman's voice answered on the second ring. "This is Sarah Matthews from the Environmental Protection Agency. Eduardo said you might call." "I'm working on a documentary about Carlton Industries," I said. "I understand you have information that might interest me. Meet me tomorrow at noon. Bring your camera." She paused. "And Amy, be careful who you trust with this. Lives are at stake." As I hung up, another text came through, this time from my mother. "Please don't do anything rash, sweetheart." Too late, Mom. Way too late. I turned back to my laptop, where the woman in the video was still speaking. Someone needs to make them answer for what they've done. "They will," I whispered to the screen. "I promise." Sarah Matthews' office felt smaller than it looked, cramped with filing cabinets and stacks of documents that reached toward the ceiling. She closed the door behind us with a soft click. "Everything I'm about to show you is public record," she said, pulling out a thick folder. "But nobody's connected the dots yet." I set up my camera as she spread documents across her desk. Carlton Industries has facilities in 12 states. In each location, we've documented increased rates of rare cancers, birth defects, respiratory issues. But every time we get close to proving causation, the evidence disappears, I finished. Or the witnesses back out. Sarah's fingers traced a map marked with red dots. "Your brother's firm handles most of their litigation. They're very good at what they do." My camera whirred quietly as it captured her methodically, laying out 20 years of environmental violations, settlements, and suspicious coincidences. "Last month, a whistleblower came forward," Sarah continued. "Former plant manager. He had documentation, samples, everything we needed. The day before his deposition." She paused, shuffling through papers. "What happened?" "Car accident, single vehicle, no witnesses." The implications hung heavy in the air. My phone buzzed. Another text from Bruce. "Dad's hosting a dinner for Carlton's CEO next week. Time to bury the hatchet. Come." I ignored it as Sarah pulled out more files. 3 hours later, I had enough footage to make any corporate lawyer nervous. As I packed up my equipment, Sarah grabbed my arm. "There's something else, off the record." I set my camera down. "Your father's firm. They're not just representing Carlton, they're shareholders, major ones." My stomach dropped. "How major?" "Enough that if Carlton goes down, your family goes with them." I drove straight to Eduardo's office, my mind racing. He reviewed the footage in silence, occasionally nodding or making notes. "This is good," he said finally. "But we need more. Someone inside Carlton willing to talk." "The last insider died in a convenient accident," I reminded him. "Then we need to be smarter." He tapped his pen against his desk. "That dinner your brother mentioned, Carlton's CEO will be there?" "Yes, but..." "Perfect. Get yourself invited." I stared at him. "You want me to spy on my family?" "I want you to do your job. Sometimes that means getting your hands dirty." He leaned forward. "Unless you're having second thoughts." Before I could answer, my phone rang. Melina. "Amy? Thank God you picked up. Listen, I need to tell you something about Carlton Industries." My heart raced. "What about them?" "Not over the phone. Can you meet me? Now?" 20 minutes later, I sat across from my sister-in-law at a quiet cafe. Her hands shook as she stirred her untouched coffee. "Bruce doesn't know I'm here," she said quietly. "He'd kill me if he knew." Knew what? I work in accounting at Carlton. Last week, I found something in the books. Payments to shell companies, millions of dollars. When I asked Bruce about it, she swallowed hard. He told me to forget I saw anything, said it was better not to know. I reached for my phone to record, but she grabbed my hand. No records, please. I'm only telling you this because... She placed a hand on her stomach. I'm pregnant, Amy, and I live less than a mile from one of their facilities. The things I've seen in those financial records, I can't stay quiet anymore. I need proof, Melina. I know. She slid a USB drive across the table. Be careful with this. People who ask too many questions about Carlton tend to disappear. Back home, I plugged in the drive with trembling fingers. Financial records, internal memos, board meeting minutes, enough to prove systematic fraud and environmental violations going back decades. My phone buzzed again. Bruce, Dad insists you come to dinner next week. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. As I typed my response, an email notification popped up from an anonymous address. The subject line made my blood run cold. Carlton Industries, you're asking the wrong questions. The message contained only an address and a time. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., come alone. I called Rhea immediately. It could be a trap, she warned, or it could be the smoking gun we need. At least let me come with you. No, I said, thinking of the whistleblower's convenient accident. I need you to be my insurance policy. If I don't call you by 4 tomorrow, release everything we have to every major news outlet. Amy, promise me. She sighed. I promise, but please be careful. I looked at the USB drive glowing softly on my desk, then at Bruce's text about the dinner. Don't worry, I replied to him. I'll be there. Wouldn't miss it for the world. The address led me to an abandoned office building on the outskirts of town. My footsteps echoed through the empty lobby as I checked my phone. 2:57 p.m. Hello? My voice bounced off bare walls. I got your email. 3rd floor. A man's voice crackled through the old intercom system. Room 312. Every instinct screamed at me to turn back as I climbed the stairs, camera clutched to my chest. The 3rd floor was dark, except for one lit office at the end of the hall. A man sat behind a desk, his face hidden in shadow. Close the door. I did, then positioned myself near the exit. Who are you? Someone who knows what Carlton Industries is really hiding. He leaned forward, light revealing a lined face and tired eyes. And it's much worse than toxic waste. Nah, I'm recording this conversation, I warned. He smiled grimly. Good. Someone needs to document the truth. He slid a thick envelope across the desk. These are shipping manifests from the past 5 years. Carlton isn't just dumping waste. They're importing it, from countries where disposal regulations don't exist. I flipped through the documents, my hands shaking. They're making money on both ends. Billions. Your brother's latest merger? It's with a Chinese disposal company. They're expanding the operation. My camera whirred as I photographed each page. Why are you showing me this? Because my grandson died last month. Rare form of cancer, 3 years old. His voice cracked. I've worked for Carlton for 30 years, kept their secrets, not anymore. A door slammed somewhere below us. The man stiffened. You need to leave. Now. He stood quickly. Take the back stairs. Don't trust anyone, especially... Footsteps thundered up the main stairwell. The man shoved me toward a side door. Go! I ran through the dark hallway, finding the emergency exit just as voices echoed from the office. I took the stairs 2 at a time, burst out into the alley, and didn't stop running until I reached my car. My phone showed 3 missed calls from Bruce. As I caught my breath, it rang again. Where are you? He demanded. Out working. Why? We need to talk. Meet me at Harrison's bar, now. 20 minutes later, I slid into a booth across from my brother. He looked unusually disheveled. Someone's been accessing Carlton's financial records, he said without preamble. Internal documents are missing. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? I met his gaze steadily. Why would I? Cut the act, Amy. Melina confessed everything. My blood ran cold. Is she okay? She's fine. Scared, but fine. He rubbed his face. Do you have any idea what you're doing? The people you're dealing with? Do you? I pulled out my phone, played the recording from earlier. 3-year-old children dying of cancer, Bruce. Your client is importing toxic waste from overseas, and you're helping them. It's not that simple. Seems pretty simple to me. These companies provide thousands of jobs, support entire communities. If they go down, children are dying. Lower your voice, he hissed. Listen to me very carefully. There's still time to stop this. Delete your footage. Forget what you've seen, please. Or what? His expression hardened. Or I can't protect you. I don't need your protection. I need you to do the right thing. The right thing? He laughed bitterly. The right thing is protecting our family. Dad's firm would collapse if this gets out. Everything he's built was built on blood money. Bruce slammed his hand on the table. Damn it, Amy. This isn't one of your little documentaries. These people, they make problems disappear permanently. Is that a threat? It's a warning from your brother who loves you. He stood up. You have 24 hours to hand over everything you have. After that, he shook his head. Just do the right thing. As he walked away, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Your source from the office building is dead. Heart attack, you're next. I called Eduardo immediately. They're closing in, I said when he answered. I need to release the documentary now. Not yet. We release this wrong, they'll bury it. Trust me. He paused. Come to my office first thing tomorrow. Bring everything you have. We'll do this right. I drove home the long way, checking constantly for tails. In my apartment, I copied all my files to multiple drives, sent one to Ria, another to a secure cloud account. Then I sat down at my computer and began editing. If anything happened to me, the world would know why. My phone buzzed one last time. Bruce again. 24 hours, Amy. Clock's ticking. I turned back to my screen, where my source's face froze in mid-sentence. Someone needs to tell the truth. Don't worry, I whispered. They will. The knock on my door came at 3 a.m. I froze in front of my editing screen, heart pounding. Amy, it's Melina. Please let me in. I checked the peephole before opening the door. My sister-in-law stood there, mascara streaked down her face. They know, she whispered, rushing inside. They know everything. Bruce has been on the phone all night. They're planning something. Slow down. I locked the door behind her. What exactly did you hear? Carlton's CEO called an emergency board meeting. Bruce said. She wrapped her arms around herself. He said they're handling the situation, permanently. Did he mention the man from the office building? They made it look like a heart attack. Amy, I'm scared. Not just for you. Her hand drifted to her stomach. What have we done? My laptop pinged with an email notification. Eduardo, don't come to the office. They're watching. Meet at alternate location. I need to get my footage somewhere safe, I said, starting to pack my equipment. Bruce will be home soon. He doesn't know I'm here. Melina grabbed my arm. There's something else. Your father. He's not just profiting from Carlton. He's on their board. The revelation hit like a physical blow. Since when? 3 years. It's why he pushed Bruce to handle their accounts. She pulled out her phone, showed me an email chain. They're all connected. The law firm, the waste disposal, the shell companies. Your father's been orchestrating everything. My hands shook as I copied the emails. Does my mother know? I don't think so. But Amy, Melina's voice dropped. The dinner tomorrow night? It's not just a dinner. They're planning to announce Bruce as Carlton's new legal director. They're bringing him inside. Another email from Eduardo popped up. Footage needs to air tomorrow, no later. I have to finish editing, I said, turning back to my computer. Let me help. Melina sat down beside me. I know where all the bodies are buried, literally. We worked through the night, piecing together interviews, documents, and financial records. As dawn broke, My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. Your father knows you have sensitive documents. Please come home. We can talk about this. Don't reply, Melina warned. They're trying to locate you. By noon, the documentary was ready. I sent copies to Eduardo, Ria, and 3 major news networks. Then I called Sarah at the EPA. It's happening today, I told her. Have your team ready. Be careful, she replied. 2 of my investigators were followed this morning. I turned to Melina. You should go home. It's not safe for you here. It's not safe anywhere. She stood up, wincing. But Bruce will wonder where I am. As if summoned, my phone lit up with his name. Where's my wife? His voice was cold. How should I know? Cut the act. Her car's been parked outside your building all night. This is your last chance, Amy. The dinner's in 6 hours. Bring everything you have. We can fix this. Like you fixed the whistleblower? A long pause. That wasn't... We didn't. He sighed. Just come to dinner. Please, for Mom's sake. After he hung up, Melina touched my shoulder. What are you going to do? I looked at my laptop, where the finished documentary waited to expose decades of corruption and death. Then at my phone, showing the time of tonight's family dinner. I'm going to do both. Amy, no. It's too dangerous. They'll be distracted at dinner. It's the perfect time to release everything. I started gathering my equipment. But first, we need to get you somewhere safe. I'm not leaving you alone. You have to. Your baby comes first. I handed her a burner phone. I'll text you when it's done, if you don't hear from me by midnight. She hugged me fiercely. Be careful. After she left, I called Ria. Everything's ready, she said before I could speak. 3 networks are standing by. Eduardo has his contacts at the international press primed. We just need your signal. I thought about my father's face when he realized his own daughter brought down his empire. About Bruce's reaction when his perfect world crumbled. 8:30 p.m., I said. Release everything. What about you? I looked at my reflection in the window, straightening my shoulders. I'll be having dinner with my family. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from an unknown number. Your father's study, top drawer. The proof you really need. I took a deep breath, checking the time. 5 hours until dinner. 5 hours until I destroyed everything my family had built. Time to set the table. I whispered to my reflection. Hope they're hungry for truth. The security guard at my father's gate barely glanced at me as I drove through. 8:15 p.m. 15 minutes until everything changed. My mother opened the front door before I could knock. Amy, thank God! She hugged me tightly, whispering, Whatever's happening, we can fix this as a family. The dining room buzzed with conversation. Bruce stood with Carlton's CEO, Robert, their laughter echoing off the walls. My father held court at the head of the table, commanding attention as always. Ah, the prodigal daughter returns, he announced as I entered. Perfect timing. Robert was just asking about your creative pursuits. Documentaries, right? Robert's smile didn't reach his eyes. Fascinating field, though I hear your latest project might need some fact-checking. 8:22 p.m. My phone vibrated silently in my pocket. Actually, I said, accepting a glass of wine from the server, I'd love your input on some of my findings. Bruce's glass froze halfway to his lips. Amy, my father warned, perhaps this isn't the time. When is the time, Dad? After more children die? After you've buried all the evidence in your study's top drawer? The room fell silent. My father's face hardened. Excuse us, everyone. Amy, my office. Now. 8:27 p.m. I followed him down the hallway, Bruce close behind. The study door clicked shut behind us. What do you think you're doing? My father demanded. Wondering why you never told me you were on Carlton's board. I moved toward his desk. 3 years, Dad. All those times you dismissed my career, you were protecting your investment. You don't understand business. I understand right and wrong. I reached for the top drawer. Bruce grabbed my wrist. Don't. 8:30 p.m. My phone buzzed again. I smiled. Too late. The study door burst open. My mother stood there, face pale. "Edward, you need to see this. All of you." We followed her to the living room, where the massive TV displayed breaking news. Exclusive. Corporate giant Carlton. Industries linked to mass environmental violations. Deaths. Robert stormed in. "What is this?" My footage played across the screen. The whistleblower's testimony, Sarah's documents, Melina's financial records. Then my father's name appeared, followed by evidence of his direct involvement. "You little fool," my father whispered. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Destroyed your empire?" I pulled open my phone, showing the viewer counts climbing. "It's streaming everywhere. International networks are picking it up." Robert grabbed his phone. "Get me legal now!" But his face told me he knew it was too late. "How could you?" Bruce advanced on me. "Our family." "Our family?" I laughed. "You mean the family that profits from poisoning children? That family?" My mother sank into a chair, watching the footage continue. Her hand covered her mouth as photographs of victims appeared, including the whistleblower's 3-year-old grandson. "Edward," she whispered, "tell me you didn't know." His silence was answer enough. The front door slammed open. FBI agents poured in, followed by EPA officials. Sarah Matthews led them, holding a warrant. Robert Williams, Edward